Hello, good evening. Welcome to a live episode of the O&G StrikeZone right here on the Black College Sports Network. I'm Bryan Fulford. That's Marcus Green, and that is Kelvin Rozier. We are the O&G StrikeZone, just three rattlers on the mic, trying to do what we can to spread the truth and shine the light in some dark corners.
And rock the mic.
Amen. Amen. Brothers, how you doing? Marcus, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Good week so far. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Hey, good, man. Good. That's always a positive. It's hump day, right? Rolling. Everything's down here, rolling towards the weekend, right?
Yep.
Amen.
Go to the light, Marcus. Go to the light.
To the light. How about you, Kelvin? How's the weather up there in Tallahassee these days? I heard it's been kind of
catching a lot of rain, especially during the weekends. But it kind of cleared out today and finally let the teams get some games in today. So we'll have some updates with baseball and softball. And I want to wish a happy Women's National Month or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we recognize. We want to recognize that. And as you can tell by our guest list, we're trying to be true to it. Bring the ladies to kick some knowledge.
Exactly. First episode of March. We got the ladies joining us. Of course, our basketball favorite analyst who covers not just the SWAC, but all HBCU basketball. That's Olivia Antilla, former FAMU basketball player. That's Live for Hoops. For those who don't know where to find her on X and IG. And then Miss Rhea Floyd is going to join us a little later in the second hour, Director of Marketing and Special Events.
And Bryan, just let me say, I want to say a special shout out, should she make it, because she's got baseball today. She's got softball today. Baseball's a doubleheader. So, she's extremely busy. She had to be. So, right now she'll be here, and I want to send a shout out for her taking the time.
It's a hope, and we're praying that everything works out so that Rhea can join us. That's what you're telling us.
She tired, boss. She tired.
Look, I understand. Aren't we all? But no, we appreciate her efforts and everything she does at FAMU, for FAMU Athletics, for student athletes, and all that good stuff. Appreciate everyone coming in and joining us. First thing, you guys watching us wherever you're watching us at. If you're on YouTube, watching us on the Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page, we thank you. Hit that thumbs up button if you would, real early. And also, you might be watching on our own O&G StrikeZone YouTube page. Thank you for watching us over there. Also, the folks on Facebook, the Black College Sports Network Facebook page, or our O&G StrikeZone Facebook page, we say hello to you too. Hit that thumbs up button, or the like button, on the Facebook. And you might be catching us on X, on the X machine, Twitter, formerly known as, now known as X. We appreciate you joining us, and say hello to our folks and friends, anybody that might be watching us on IG. We are in so many places. Got to give a shout out also, anyone who might be watching us on Niche Network TV, the new way to stream and watch the show. A lot of great things coming from that. Ooh, yeah,
we fancy now.
Hey, look, we in all kinds of places, man. You got to do that these days, right? You can't be in just one spot. You can't stand still. Can't be in one spot.
It's important. James Austin say he watching us on CBS.
On what? Get out of here.
CBS. What the heck?
It's a
Hey,
joke.
I was gonna say. Now if we done made it to CBS, I'm like, hey, I'm
Hey,
looking
it's
for that.
time to. Hey, I think I got my retirement job. If that's the case,
I'm looking for them royalties, right? Looking for them royalties. If we done made it to CBS, boy. Amen. Amen. I see Coach P joined us on Instagram. Coach P, appreciate you jumping in there.
way to bust them heads up, Coach P too.
Yeah, we
I
got.
saw you bust them heads today.
I was gonna say we got a final score from that. Give us a live update. What do you got?
I know one of them was 5-2. The good guys, the good ladies. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Good. I think we started the game behind a little bit, didn't we? Like 1-0 or something, maybe. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right. Before we get into some of the show, let's get into some of what we like to do is the roll call around this time. Give a shout out to everybody who jumped in early. A lot of folks watching. Of course, hey, we love you even if you don't want to jump into the chat room. We know sometimes it can be hot in there, but maybe you're just watching it. But we want to give a shout out to those who bravely stepped into the chat room, or just the regulars who what they do. So appreciate you coming in, MAC Web. I realized something. My vision is getting so bad that if you look down,
Don't say that.
Look, honestly, if you see me doing this, it's because
Speak life.
the way my screen is set up, I'm trying to figure out the names on some of these.
Hey, Bryan, it's not the screen. Go to the eye doctor and go and get a little thicker prescription now. You know the drill.
Look, the glasses are already thick, so I mean, I don't know what the dot. What happened? What I missed?
Somebody's co-signing your assessment or your visit.
You know who it is. JSU in the house.
Man, look, I got comments, but I'm gonna save it for Liv when Liv gets on. I'm gonna say hello to all of our friends, no matter what school you represent. I'm gonna say hello to everybody. I'm gonna be nice here in this first segment. I'm gonna be nice. Shout out to Bull checking in. Game time. Yes, indeed, Bull. Thank you for coming in. Shout out to Melissa Wilson.
Hi.
Amen.
That's right.
Good to see you, Melissa. Demetra Alford checking in. Good to see you, Demetra. Appreciate you coming in. Them boys coming in. Good to see you.
What up? What up, guy?
Yes, indeed. My boy, Tony. Good to see you, Tony. Amen. Amen. Jimmy Mack. Appreciate you coming in. Jimmy Mack. Appreciate you. Meredith. Checking in.
What's up, Meredith?
Yeah. Let me see. What Jimmy Mack asking questions. I haven't seen your family checking in yet, Rozier. He didn't check in. Jimmy was asking about him. Mary 305. Hello.
What's up, Mary?
Good to see you, Mary. Appreciate you. Tamara T. Appreciate you,
up?
Tamara. Hello. Ashton Harris, thank you for coming in. Good to see you,
Ash. Up,
Ashton? Tremaine Ellis, good to see you.
What's up, Tremaine?
Kenya Sykes coming in. Hey, fam, what's up?
She from New York City, boss.
New York. Concrete jungle.
There you go.
Chuck
Hunt, where you from?
Monroe, Louisiana. Good evening, Chuck. Good to see you.
What's up, Chuck?
Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. Derek Singleton. Good to see you.
What's up, Silk? Jackson, Mississippi in the house.
Still above ground and walk in unassisted. That's a good thing. Derek, good to see you, man. Appreciate you. Marcus, what up, brother? Good to see you, Mark.
Megan's finest.
Yeah, amen. Little baby checking in.
What's up, little baby?
Amen. Checking in. Will Davis, good to see you, Will.
What's up, Will?
Good to see you, Will. As I said, always good to see my.
What's up, little girl?
Good to see my people. I hope we have.
Hey, she don't stay long, boy. That OBC saw on the elevator and didn't see her no more. She made the great escape. She got it up quick. The girl got some speed now.
Lord have mercy, boy. See, don't start. She the last one you want to get in a beef with. I didn't see her handle her business, boy.
Hey,
I
boy, it's some straight foolishness.
Hey, I tell you what, boy. Hey,
Yeah.
Hey,
some of the actions going on in these Twitter streets, they remind me of the old MEAC fans
yes,
bulletin
yeah,
board days, boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
Y'all coming for people's heads out there. It's like, damn. God bless everybody, man. CAP Fitness, good to see you.
Coach.
That's Coach.
What's up, Coach?
That's Coach
Oh,
Patton.
that's Coach P. Okay, yeah, okay. See, I had to check in. It's okay. Didn't recognize that right off the bat. Tremaine Ellis. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yep. What's up,
yep.
Terrain? Again,
Yep. There it is, Coach with the update.
yeah,
Yeah, one game, 5-2 victory. Always love it. Always love it.
busting them
Uh,
heads.
Bobby Calhoun checking in. Checking
What's
in.
up, Bobby?
Appreciate
I
you.
think.
Hello coming in.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
I like saying that. That just sounds good to me for some reason.
You got pretty good at it. You got pretty good at it. What up, Dex?
The high.
One of the greatest sports marketing directors at FAMU. Always allowed me an opportunity to come in as a young undergrad and see what was going on, man. Handle business, man. One of my mentors going through FAMU Athletics. Good to see you, Dex. Thanks for checking in. Edwin Moore. Good to see you, Edwin.
What's up, Evan?
Edwin. All right. EA coming in. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you.
We got GSU
Alex.
and Southern in the house.
Oh yeah, exactly. I think that's
And
Ken. Is that
Gremlin.
Ken? Is that
That's
Ken? We got
Ken.
Gremlin now.
That's
That's
Ken.
Ken. All right, Ken. All right. Good
Ken
to
and
see you.
out. He just a little late today.
That's all right. That's all right. Let's see. Who else do I see? Look, I didn't. Hold on. This is Demetrius saying. Demetrius is saying I didn't start the first beef this week. I did not. Look, I'm gonna explain myself a little bit later. I did not start any kind of beef this week. I made a comment. You know how I can be a little messy at times. And I was just poking fun at some grammatics. And hell, next minute I got people chopping my head off. Man, but anyway, it's all in fun. Look, Twitter is for fun. Yeah, sometimes folks get a little personal with it. What'd she say?
You got to go up one. You got to go up one.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Hey.
We don't have to do that.
Hey, we all on the same team though. At the end of the day, with that one,
exactly.
We all we got.
Look.
CMB.
Demetra, I appreciate it. Demetra said I started it. She was about to have my back, and she realized I had kind of walked into that one. She's like, I'm gonna let him go on ahead that one. I appreciate you. That's all right though. Thinking of me. I did give praise though. So I mean, look, we'll talk about that in a second. But look, hey, you got to recognize your own, right? We got to recognize our own, and that's one of the great things about FAMU. There's so much history that I think whether it be us or maybe the elders before us have had a chance to be a part of witnessing great coaches do what they do. All three of us had an opportunity to witness and watch the greatness that was Coach Veronica Wiggins when she was coaching at FAMU. And so this past weekend, of course, was the dedication of Veronica Wiggins Field at the University Softball Complex. And I said it on Twitter, and I'm going to say it here on Wax. Thank you to VPAD Tiffany Sykes, the FAMU Board of Trustees, and Dr. Larry Robinson. People that we don't always give them praise, but when they do things the right way and when they do things in honor and recognition, thank you. So I say thank you. And thank you to Rhea Floyd as well. She did a great job emceeing the event organizing. It was free to watch on FAMU Facebook. So I appreciate that, and then, you can go pay to watch the game on Rattler Plus. But I appreciate everything that was done. There were some great speeches
Yep.
and great recognition by those who spoke. I know I got a little misty eyed, and it was really cool. It was really cool to kind of
Yeah.
watch, and I think the one thing summarized, guys, that I saw, somebody said it was great to be able to recognize Coach Wiggins while she's still living. And
Yes.
I know they were joking about the whole kickboxing thing. So I mean, she's in a wheelchair, but she's a relatively good health, I imagine. And so, but it's good that that recognition she was able to receive, and I know, it was kind of bittersweet for the Riley family that they had lost Coach Riley maybe a year before the football field at Bragg Stadium was memorialized for him. But I think it was great that Coach Wiggins. Any thoughts? I'm gonna show a quick video courtesy of our good friend Gerald Thomas. But any thoughts you want to share, Kelvin, and then Marcus?
Well, I got a chance to work, of course, with Coach Wiggins, and you know, on on game day, she's a monster for everybody. She's locked in, she focused, and but she's such a giving person. Um, just truly cares about her kids, care about the program, love FAMU. The best to ever do it, man. I mean, she's one of one when it comes to softball and those 700 wins and so forth. So very deserving. She won't do interviews. So I didn't even bother because I know. I mean, even when she was the coach, she used to let her assistants do the interviews. Very humble person, and but nobody's more deserving. And I tell you just how big that Coach Wiggins is, right? So you had Florida State, both previous softball Coach Graf,
Yes, I
as,
saw
as
that.
well as their current softball coach there for Coach Wiggins. They had, she's got a great relationship with them. And then also Holly Rowe chimed in
I saw that too.
um,
Yeah.
and talked about how great a person Coach Wiggins. Everybody knows Coach Wiggins, man. She's the salt of the earth, man. And I'm just like you. We did it right. We did it while, we gave her flowers while she living, man. And it was well done, by the way, too. So
Yes, it
kudos to
was.
everybody.
It was. It was. Marcus, any thoughts you want to share?
Just to reiterate what Kelvin said and what you said as well, just the honor well deserved, and is good for our current set of athletes
Hmm.
and current students to meet and be in the presence of a living legend. And
Amen.
this is not to disparage or diminish any of the great accomplishments, but unfortunately, some of the folks who have who've got national recognition or got in the Hall of Fame, at least on the football side, has been posthumously. And
Hmm.
we do allow that history, but the folks that are still here, we need to make sure that the players and the students understand the legacy that Coach Wiggins is continuing in terms of greatness in FAMU athletics, and the fact that they actually get to meet her, and see the ceremony just helps to continue to reemphasize that legacy of athletic greatness that they may not necessarily appreciate for those who have passed on and being honored after their passing on.
Hmm. Well said. Here's a brief video again, courtesy of Gerald Thomas, and of course Gerald of the Tallahassee Democrat covers FAMU very very well.
I would not be possible without the student athletes that put family on their back and put the program in their heart. And I'm here today to say thank you to you. Now, I know they got a game, and I'm not gonna make no crap because we late now. Well, we got a game, and all I want to say, we don't let nobody come in. We out here to have what? What?
officially open the Veronica Wiggins Field at the University Softball Complex. You may now cut the ribbon.
All right. So again, that was a video. I hope that video turned out well. It looked like it was skipping a little bit on my end, but it could have been just my my signal. But hopefully you guys got a good taste of that. And appreciate Gerald Thomas for allowing me to share that with everybody. And right after the game, we had a doubleheader with Jacksonville University, and doggone it, we got a win. We got a win right
Yes, we
after
did.
that. Yeah. What was the score of that game? 5-2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
5-2 in that contest. Just reading a little bit here if I can pull it up in a timely manner here. Naomi Jones with a 4-hit game in the win, 4 for 4, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Our good friend of the program, Nia Morgan, she was 2 for 3 and a run scored. Tatiana Davis 1 for 4 with an RBI. Samantha Smith 1 for 3 on the day. So just an outstanding job by the ladies. I think we ended up let me see who got the win in that. Oh, Smith got the win. Zoriana Hughes got the save in that contest. Any other thoughts you want to add on that? That I think we dropped the second game. Was there a third? I don't think we played the third. There was some.
We started. Yeah, we started, but the weather didn't hold up Sunday. We were ahead 1-0, I think, in the top of the second, maybe, but we didn't complete that game. So, and Jacksonville University played Florida State before that game on Sunday, and they beat Florida State. So you know, at our field. So, you know, it was a good win. It was a good win.
Man, that's positive. I was gonna show. I know we had a couple of players of the week, hitter of the week. You got that info, Kel? You can share with everybody. I'm gonna pull up the graphic while you track that down. Or Marcus, maybe do you have it? Our player of the week and pitcher of the week from softball.
Naomi Jones and Zoriana Hughes earned SWAC honors of the week. Let me pull it up.
I think that's the second week in a row that Zoriana got pitcher of the week or co-pitcher of the week honors from
and
the SWAC.
she's a freshman, I believe. I want to say from
co-pitcher of the week.
Lake City, Columbia High School, I believe.
Damn.
Yes, that's looking good for the future.
Oh yeah.
Or right now and the future.
And Naomi Jones had was 5 of 8, 2 runs, 2 RBIs, and went 4 for 4 in one game, I guess, and inside of the park home run in the 5-2 win versus JU. So yeah, softball is gaining momentum every week, and now we start SWAC play this weekend.
This weekend.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. current record, just in case you guys wondered, 4-13. But I know we have played a absolutely brutal schedule. I mean, if you go and look at the ratings, I was looking at a softball. I was looking at rankings because I know there's some softball program, HBCU programs that are having some really good seasons, and I was looking at the RPI and the data on our team versus some other teams, and honestly, our rating is just as high as some other programs because of the schedule. And so, obviously there's a plan, you know what I'm saying? And I think when you schedule tough, it makes you tougher. So it's good to see that the non-conference ended with a win. And we start SWAC play, as you mentioned, Kelvin, this Friday in Huntsville, Alabama. Play 3. One on Friday, a doubleheader on Saturday against Alabama A&M. So good opportunity for folks to get out and check out the Lady Rattlers, those of you in the Alabama area. And then they return home. At this point, we start moving into weekend series. So I don't know if there's nothing on the schedule right now in terms of midweek games, but I wouldn't be surprised if, something gets scheduled. I don't know how often or how likely that is to happen. You may know more than me, Kelvin.
No, what's on the website is all I know.
All right. Well said. Well said. Before we go to break, I want to take a second to mention our track program, our championship track program, our indoor
multi-championship program at this point. Those women, They rolling. They going for a sweep.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, our women, we've won the cross country team title. We won the indoor, and legitimately the outdoor title is full in play. So a great opportunity to get the sweep there. But hey, we need you to donate to our track and field program.
They got to buy rings. Let's go, Rattler Nation. Let's do what we do.
Exactly. You guys did a hopefully I'm curious. You guys in the chat room and a lot of people watching. Did you buy fan rings? Just, let us know. If you thumbs up or thumbs down. If you bought a fan ring, give a thumbs up. If you did not, give a thumbs down. I'm just kind of curious to see what it looks like. And of course, as AD,
I didn't get the ring. I did get the pendant though.
You got the pendant? Come on,
yeah.
Kelvin. No, you didn't. Really?
Yeah. I got a pendant.
All
My wife probably gonna take it, but
what about you, Marcus?
No, I didn't get any jewelry.
No jewelry. Yeah. No. I'm not a jewelry person myself either. So yeah, no rings for me. No rings. Unless I'm fortunate enough to be a part of winning one. So, but I know a few of you did, and I know AD Sykes had said that the funds from that would help go towards paying for football's rings. So I'll be curious to see how that went. Seeing a few people with some thumbs up, some with some thumbs down, nose. But, our student athletes here, the track program, the ladies, our women's track team, we need to purchase some rings. So that QR code right there is what you can hit. And if you hit that QR code, it'll take you right to the FAMU Foundation page. You can make a donation of any quantity that you want, $25, $50, more, less, $18.87, whatever you want to do to donate towards the track program and the championship rings that they'll be purchasing. Yes. So we'll show that a couple more times during the show. Okay, let's get to our first break because our first guest is ready for us. Our favorite basketball analyst, Olivia Antilla, former FAMU baller. That's right. Wrecking shop in the MEAC back when she was playing and spitting truth. No matter how much haters in the hate in the
smoke.
Hey, she brings it. I tried to come in with some smoke behind her, and I'm like, man, it's dangerous out here in these streets. I don't know how Liv does this. I got too many people to keep. I got to keep people happy, man. It's like this hate. We're gonna talk about this hate coming up here shortly. We're gonna talk about FAMU. I put a great question out earlier when I saw that Alabama A&M put up 6,000 plus over the weekend for their rival against Alabama State.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask Liv flat out, what's it gonna take for FAMU to have that kind of draw this weekend against our rival Bethune-Cookman? That's gonna be the first question.
Well, I can't wait to have that conversation because they are doing some things, and of course, Real's coming on. She'll be able to share some of that too.
All right. Well, I'd love to hear it. Got to hear it. So hang right in there. We'll be right back after this short commercial break with Olivia Antilla, Live for Hoops on Twitter. Live for Hoops or die trying. Bye. We'll be back in a second.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
There she is.
Oh, my dog.
Our favorite basketball analyst. Live for Hoops. Olivia Antilla. Liv, how you doing tonight?
Hey, we might have to relabel her. Live for smoke.
I'm good.
I love it.
Oh
Man,
my
it's
goodness.
hard.
I'm
It's hard.
good. How are you guys?
Hey,
What's up?
doing well. Good to see you. Yeah, Liv. I don't know who took more heat earlier in this week, you or me, for just trying to show some praise and love to that school in Mississippi. I think I probably got a lot more heat, but man, you took some this and all. Okay, so set it up. You were basically pointing out what, and it drew what kind of reaction?
I was just talking about Jackson State women's basketball program. That's the only school I mentioned. That was the only school I was talking about. And I was just saying that based on, having a P6 win, going undefeated in conference play, the fact that, outside when they went toe to toe with Miami, like other big schools, they didn't lose by large margins that they should be higher than a 15 seed. And then all of a sudden, people just wanted to come knocking, bringing other schools into the equation. When I wasn't talking about other schools, I was simply just trying to talk about Jackson State women's basketball program, because I give every school their moment. And in this moment, I just wanted to highlight the success they've had and try and promote that they should be higher than a 15 seed. Because as much as people don't want to think about it, these people are online. Like, they see things. So if we sit back and we're just like, oh, we're cool being the play-in game every year because that's where they're going to put us. No, I'm going to cause commotion and make sure those P5 coaches that are following me are liking and retweeting the tweets I'm saying about these teams, about getting respect for HBCUs. That's what platforms are for. And people wanted to start throwing PWIs and other schools into the equation. And I was just simply highlighting, promoting, and recognizing the success that Jackson State had. And if they win out the conference tournament and finish the season strong, they have one more game. And I said that in the tweet. I said, if they go undefeated and if they win the conference tournament, they should be this. But then people wanted to bring, it was just so unnecessary in my opinion. Like, let me just talk about this one team for 1 second. I talk about everybody, so please calm down.
I understand. I understand, Liv. I mean, look, I spent a good segment on Sunday's show praising Coach Reed in Jackson State, right? I pointed out great statistics, the 5th consecutive regular season title, how that puts her among the GOATs of SWAC women's basketball. And I simply pointed out something about votes on a top 25 poll, right? Just a little grammatical thing that I pointed out, right? And then all of a sudden,
Oh
here
my
comes,
goodness.
I mean, I got people questioning, I know, talk about my neck and all. It's like y'all trying to shame me. Y'all not gonna shame me. Like
what neck?
Anyway.
You got a neck?
Exactly.
That's what they were saying.
Yes, exactly. It's a big head on these broad shoulders, but you know what? I'm okay with it because I mean, look, Twitter's for fun, but I mean, man, the people coming at me, I'm like, y'all missed the whole praise and the research I did, and it's just like nothing. I mean, I made one little grammatical point, and all of a sudden it's just like, here come the bullets and people who won't people who won't even have the guts to follow me on Twitter want to jump in my mentions and shoot shots. So I'm just,
I missed all that. I saw some of the stuff that was coming at Liv, but mainly I saw that because of her response to that. But I didn't see the smoke coming at you, man. But by the way, both of you all are exactly right. It's JSU women's basketball turn. They've been running the SWAC 5 years running. What Coach Reed has done is amazing. It's impressive, and she deserves, and they deserve all the credit.
And on top of that, Kelvin and Liv, well, actually, we've all seen it in history, in recent history or past history, that teams, even teams that are outside the power structure, if they have a run of a couple good years of dominating the conference, winning the conference title, and being competitive in the NCAAs, that builds a resume for them to get benefit of the doubt when it continue to make that run, and they don't have to be relegated to a 15 or 16 seed. So I completely agree with Liv in that. Like, if you look at Hampton in the 90s and you look A&T on the men's side, and even on the women's side, I think Hampton under David Six may have had some similar success where
they had that huge run.
Yeah, they had runs and where they dominated the conference and they competed in the NCAAs. It wasn't a 20-point blowout. And I guess it was just 2 years ago, I want to say pre-Angel Reese, when JSU was taking LSU almost, down to the wire. And so that builds a resume that the committee can say, you know what, this team has dominated the conference. They have single-digit losses going into the tournament. They've competed well against P6 teams, and they've shown that they can compete over multiple years, and you don't have to slot them in automatically at 16. And I hope that the committee recognizes that, because it's the same thing they've done on both sides for men and women, but especially see the men teams like a Gonzaga, over the years built up and then got to a powerhouse level, but they started out the same place where they were in a conference outside of it, competed, dominated the conference between them and St. Mary's, and then just continually got the benefit of the doubt each year they made the tournament.
Yeah, their net rating, which, see, a lot of people, when we talk about this argument, I'm glad you brought this up in your arguments about net rating. A lot of people don't understand how the metrics work. And Dr. McClellan has tried. I mean, obviously, he's the chair of the NCAA men's committee. He has tried to explain to people how the rankings work. There's a formula to this, but we keep shooting ourselves in the foot, playing Division II schools and playing 13 games on the road in the non-conference. But anyway, the point being, JSU's women have a net rating under 100. That is great. I mean, I think it was like 97 last time I checked. The problem, which I don't know, this year is actually a good year. SWAC women's basketball is up. It's not in the bottom 3. There's 33 conferences. They're like 27 or 28. So, yes, could they get a 14? The 14 is really in line for them, similar to what they got a couple years ago. And the problem is, folks, they're a mid-major. We're a mid-major conference. It's hard for it to go up higher until, A, they get more non-conference wins. I know they had the 1, but you probably need you need at least half that non-conference against D1s to be wins, right? You need that. And then, secondly, you need your conference to help you out. And I think this year was a good year for SWAC women's non-conference. It actually, there were some schools that got some wins, and it really helped. And so all of that factors into the mix. And, the whole thing was, it was what it was. I don't even. What was the other thing I caught hell for? I'm trying to think. There was something else I caught hell.
There was so much.
Oh, the contract. Thank you, Marcus. There was the contract. Look, it's the end of Coach Reed's contract. I simply pointed out. Yeah, I pointed out that her contract, that she signed a renewal deal like $495 over 88 monthly installments. Now, that to me had me shaking my head like, what? She did a what? She did a 4-year deal. She did a 4-year extension with 88 monthly installments. That's right out of the Clarion Ledger. That's no number I made up. You do the math on what that looks like. So when I said, she took a discount deal, yeah, that's a discount deal, because what it is even after you do the math, 88 months is what? That's more than 4 years. So essentially, in the next 3 to 4 years, she'll still be getting money from Jackson State, even with, hopefully, if JSU gives a new contract. I caught hell for that when a JSU media person said the same damn thing practically. Anyway, so I'm going to move off of JSU. I love all my people in here. Whitley, love to see you. Glad you in here. Tamona, all you JSU people. Hey, happy for JSU. Hope y'all run the table this year. Honestly, I hope you do. But let's talk about how.
Not going that far.
You're not going that far?
If they made the NCAA tournament, then yes.
Then we root for them.
Then we root for them.
Well, the sad part is
that's the only way before that.
That's the only way they're getting to the tournament, is if they win the SWAC tournament, as you saw last year. You mess around and let Southern or somebody else sneak up on you, you ain't going. So, Liv, for our Lady Rattlers, though, we are still in the hunt. Let me put up the standings just in case folks didn't know. The Lady Rattlers are still in the hunt right now, as we're sitting in the
it's coming down to this last game.
It's the 6-7 spot, but don't we have the tiebreaker over Prairie View?
This is the whole thing. It's
not over Bethune.
It's more than just. No, that's what I'm trying to say. So yes, over Prairie View, but Prairie View has one more game over Texas Southern on Saturday. It actually hurts FAMU that they only have one game left. Alcorn has 2. So they have 2 chances to get 2 more wins. It's against Valley and UAPB. So they can move up. Bethune's this is the whole thing, right? So if Prairie View beats Texas Southern, who knows what will happen in that game, because both of those teams are very up and down. But if they win, Alcorn wins just one game, that means Alcorn, FAMU, and like let's say FAMU loses and Bethune wins, they will all be tied at 7-11. Like if Alcorn beats Valley and then lose a PB or vice versa. Then it will come down to FAMU split with both of them. It will then come down to point differential of all the scores. So it's really, this is, if FAMU wants to make, they cannot bank on other people losing. They literally, this is a must, like no games, must win.
Control your own destiny.
Yes. And I know people, we've seen like the down, like really, FAMU has kind of slithered down these last few games. I think fatigue has kind of taken a toll. And then also, in my opinion, teams are guarding Grizzle way differently than they were in the first part of the first conference season. Like first half, second half. The second time around, they're playing no games. And so Bethune having their entire roster back now, like everyone's back off of injury reserve. I'm really interested by this game on Saturday.
Well, you know what? It's funny. So here's the hard part. When you say they're guarding her different, and you may be seeing it in a different way, because when I watched the Grambling State game. Thank goodness, Grambling State Sports Network. Love everything that network team does, right? Didn't have to pay for it. It was free, all the good stuff. Even had some live in-game video from other games. Awesome job. I just saw a lot of missing. There was just a lot of bad. I mean, we were like 1 for 17 from behind the arc.
Which has been the case the past few games.
Right. So when you say they're guarding her differently, what are you seeing that other teams recently have been doing to Ariana?
So for the first example, Alcorn, instead of putting White on her, which White is very similar in size, they threw Cheatham on her, which Cheatham is a forward player who's very athletic, can keep up pace-wise, but has more strength than her. They had her on her the entire game. So not only was she taller, but it's a player who just based off of what I saw, more strength to throw at her. And then on the defensive end, we'll see teams seriously trying to go right at her. And that's what they did in the Grambling game when they got her with those early fouls. They just attack her because they know once she goes on the bench, it's a different team. And so we're seeing a lot, they're throwing fresher bodies on her, like Grambling. They have such a long bench that they can throw a different guard on her every single possession to try and wear her out. Because this is the thing, and I said this before, it's very, okay, the coaches are not the same, but this is very reminiscent of last year's team when it was one player like doing a lot of the scoring, the bulk of the scoring, and then when she's taken away, other people are thrown into positions they're not used to playing. And then that's what Grizzle's been this year. They've been so like, she's going to score. We know she's going to score. We know she's going to score. And then now it's just like, who else? Who's going to step up to the plate? Because in that game versus Grambling, I want people to understand efficiency. Yes. Why am I forgetting her name? My mind's going blank.
From FAM or Grambling?
Yes. Oh, my own name.
Delancey.
Yes. Olivia Delancey led them in scoring, but my mind went blank. I'm sorry. But she went like 9 for 28 from the floor. Like,
yeah,
you won't win games that way. And so that's why this weekend, I'm very curious to see how Bethune is going to guard her specifically and what differently is FAMU going to do sure that they win this game, because the way they played at Grambling, the way they played Alcorn, the way they played Alabama A&M, it's the second time. It's not going to cut it, and it's not going to get you into the tournament.
They need a big crowd this weekend. What's your favorite memory when you played Bethune, Liv? Did you have a favorite memory or game from your years of playing Bethune?
Look
Did we
like she
lose
might have
Liv there?
Oh
froze.
my gosh.
No, there you go.
Honestly, all of them. Did I freeze? Oh, honestly, all of them because I don't know how it is now, but when I was playing, like this was like a big deal. Like this is a real rivalry, and when it came down to like playing, it was very serious. Like this was very personal. This game meant more than every other game because it was Bethune. And so they do need a big crowd. And I know I saw a lot of people winning would help. Winning would help. Well,
Yeah.
duh, but they're not there right now. So the way you can help a team and assist them in moving forward is giving them a good crowd. I think people forget that crowds can be a six man and can really actually help teams win. But I mean, all of them are good because like my last time playing Boone, they did it differently. So the side, even the way. So when I played, the benches were on the other side.
Uh-huh.
Right.
That one side where they are now, they pushed it back and they put like the huge VIP seating areas, a stage, like the whole it was packed that game. I remember it was so
Yeah.
loud for our game. Like and not just at the end. It was like the whole game. It was loud, it was crowded, people were very much into the game. And so I think it just people have to want to go, even whether the teams are struggling or not. That's how you help move teams to the right direction by supporting.
Yeah. So I had put the challenge, I had put it out there over the weekend, seeing the Alabama A&M drawing 6,500 people, practically selling out their event center arena, which I think it's a capacity of about almost 7,000. I think that was capacity, 6,500, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I put it out there. I said, look, what's it going to take? And yeah, like you said, you get the comments about winning, but the legitimate question is what do we have to do to get, I mean, for the Bethune-Cookman game. And look, the men have won 2 straight at home, so they're coming in with a home win streak. We know our women are playing for a chance to get to the SWAC tournament. This is the start of a new era. This is something big for the program, for Coach Gordon. What's it going to take, Kelvin? What's going to have to happen to get 65 and 6,500? Crazy part is not selling out Lawson, but damn, it'll be a great crowd if we get 6,500 people.
Well, this, spring break starting. So I'm interested to see what the student makeup gonna be. That's kind of tough. Next week is spring break, so a lot of folks who going on spring break, they already leaving. They're gonna be if they ain't gone now, they'll be gone by Friday. And I'm also
Mm-hmm.
interested to see how that impacts the band.
Hmm.
Now I do
Mm.
know that there's some promotions and stuff going on. I do expect our largest crowd of the season. It always is. And so there's some things that are happening on campus and at Lawson with vendors and programming and so forth. I know there's some cheer squads, and so they're doing some marketing things. I think we're gonna have to do a better job on the front end, though, frankly, with marketing our games. I've had people reach out and talk about making it so that high school programs having that relationship, so high school programs,
That part.
basketball programs can come and watch them play and so forth. I know Florida State has that set up
Mm-hmm.
where any game, not just the big games, any game, they contact the department and say, hey, me and my team, we coming through. So just being more a part of the community. And I think on the women's side, we have Coach Jenny, who was at Garby High School, who I think can help facilitate that on Coach Gordon's staff. And I know that FAMU DRS head coach Kermit is at every game, and she's had her team at some games. So just developing the community involvement and not not in the middle of the season or at the end of the season. You know, you got to have you got to do the programming from the beginning of the season. Also having more home games out of conference.
At the
We
beginning
only
of the
usually,
season.
we only play like two out of conference games at home, and it's usually a Division II or NAIA school. We did schedule better this year, so I think we got to look at everything: scheduling, being more involved in the community, and then having packages. Like for instance, Florida State, they have 3-4 game packages instead of a season ticket package, where they know some games are gonna be slow, and so they lump them all together and have special pricing so families can come. So we gotta do things that make coming to FAMU basketball an option. And I think right now we do too much to make it not an option.
Hey, Kelvin, or one thing, I guess, to all three of your points, I noticed this past week we just had probates for some of the
Oh yeah.
or some of the fraternities. And I don't know, you'd have to make some arrangements, and I don't know how that it involves, prolonging things. But if you have maybe a couple of the probates come up in between the men's and women's games, or maybe like a couple before, a couple between the games, and a couple afterwards, to draw that crowd too. So now you're bringing in the HBCU element, not only from the athletic standpoint of people who are basketball fanatics, but now you're bringing the social aspect where you have non-basketball fans coming to the game. At least this, if any happens to fall a home game during the week when probate lines come up. Just kind of mix and match and making it more cultural, so you can pull in the casual fan or even the non-fan to attend the game, but also get what they need if a probate line comes up, or if you can somehow arrange it in between the beginning, the end, and between the two men's and women's games. Now, that would take a lot of logistics, so I don't know how all that would work, and you'd have to get agreement from different organizations, but it's another consideration if you want to draw people in.
Here's the schedule. Now, what's interesting, like Liv pointed out, there's 4 games happening tomorrow, Thursday. You can kind of see the schedule there. What's the game of significance for Thursday, Liv, when you look at this SWAC schedule?
Honestly, probably like Grambling and A&M game is big, because Grambling has 2 games left, but they're 2 games ahead for second place, but they'll hit 20 wins if they win one of the Alabama games, and they haven't since 2002. And obviously the UAPB Jackson State game, although I don't really know what's going on with UAPB, and think Jackson State will still win, and I just don't know what's going on with that team right now. I think everyone's kind of like, what's happening, if you've been paying attention to who's been playing. But those are probably the 2 games. I think the Grambling A&M one, I probably have circled more because A&M plays really well at home. But those 2 games, because I think Alcorn will beat Valley, so not too much worried about that one.
I'm Liz having some internet issues, so she'll jump back in a second. I'm surprised. Look, 3 weeks ago, she would have said UAPB at Jackson State. I know she would have, because her favorite girl, Zay Green, for UAPB. And I bet she probably would have said, hold on, I'm not gonna speak for her, but let me see. Hold on. She said, I think she heard me. Hey,
no.
Yeah, look, 3 weeks ago, come on, Liv, tell the truth. You would have put money on Zay Green going into Jackson State and getting a win, huh? 3 weeks ago, before all this S started, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, she didn't play in the first one, and it's just been radio silence. So that's why I'm saying I don't know what's happening. I don't know who's playing. And I even think if she does come back, Jackson State will win, because she hasn't played the last 4 games, I believe.
Ooh,
so
Wasn't that one day the team that was fighting on the sidelines?
Yes.
Well, that's what's going to happen. They got a messed up locker room.
Something's messed up. Something's messed
Yeah.
up. Yeah, it's disappointing because they're still sitting there in like
At
what
third,
yeah. I mean, hell, I
third
just put the
place.
standings up. They're sitting in third. You can look at them right there, sitting in third.
Yep.
And but I would want to play them in the first round though. That's why I want FAMU to get that 6th seed because that's who I want to play in the first round. Everybody else is like, I don't know, I want to play them. But Southern we do well against. We out rebounded Grambling by 20. I feel like we can beat Grambling. We just can't go 1 for 17 from the arc. You just can't beat anybody when you go 1 for 17. I don't know. That's just me. And then you got Saturday. Saturdays are
It's
no
just
comment.
you.
It's just me. That's all right. That's all right. I'm used
Can
to
I
it.
can
We're
I be
ahead of
honest?
schedule. Go ahead.
Be
We love your
honest about
honesty,
that
please.
game on Saturday or
Yeah.
Monday? When did they just play them? Monday?
Who? Southern?
No. So they played
Grambling.
Grambling. They played
Grambling
Grambling on Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah. Yeah.
So I've actively watched all these teams. Grambling looked terrible. Like they looked horrible. And I don't care. She'll know that. Coach Simmons will probably agree with me. Though they weren't, that's not like them to not rebound the ball. Their offense was very stagnant. And I think that was the opportunity if FAMU wanted a win to pounce when they were playing like that. Grambling is they're up and down, but they found ways to win through playing bad, which is good for them. And even the Southern game, FAMU was up heading into the 4th. And then what happened? They ended up dropping it. And I really think it plays to fatigue. They don't have a deep bench. And the people like Hendricks, I love Sydney Hendricks. I will sing her praise all day. Even Nashani Gilbert. I mean, I still feel like that face mask is like kind of ruining how she's like can score. But those are 2 players. Yes, Sydney had that great game. She really she did her thing when she scored 24 points and 12 rebounds. But Sydney's not there yet to do that on a nightly basis. And that's okay. It's just I would be, I don't know, maybe if they got matched up with Southern in the first round, but everyone else I'm just kind of like, ooh. Because if anyone has a good post player, I'm just like, ugh, I get worried for them.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Bethune's got a good post player. She gave us hell the first meeting, but I think our posts are better
Than
at
Kayla?
this point in the season. Well, I'm not saying I said they're
Oh,
better
okay.
now.
Okay.
No.
I was about to say that.
You're gonna get some smoke.
I know. It's bad enough I got people in the chat room just itching to fire at me. No. I'm just saying from where they were that first game at Bethune to and that was a game that I don't know how it was close, but it was close late in the ball game, and so that's why I got a lot of hope and confidence and we just need a great crowd. But I think this team is ready to get a win. I think this team is ready to get a win. Very quickly, the men, again, real quick, there's the you didn't have to do that. The men, the schedule is there, very similar to the women's, obviously. The men's standings,
Oof, we're off the chart.
Oh, well, I no sense in putting this up there. Come on now.
So are the Hornets. I don't know why you got Alabama State up there.
Oh, they are? They don't have a shot at even the 8th spot?
Right now, they're out.
Well, okay, my bad.
Because this is the thing, they end their season playing Grambling and Southern, okay. I see. So that's why it was between UAPB, Alabama A&M, and Alabama State. You guys both beat the Florida team swept the Alabama teams, and then the Alabama teams met up, and that game was so important. And then Alabama A&M won. And UAPB won their game, which dropped Alabama State out. I mean, anyone can beat anyone on any given night, but the way Grambling's playing right now, I don't see that happening.
Hey, Alcorn State's a hot team, seven wins in a row. But going into the tournament, I still am not betting against Texas Southern. They've won 7 of the last 10. What's your early prediction
Ooh.
on who do you like on the men's side in the SWAC tournament next week?
That's okay. So obviously we know Grambling was number 1 when they went into the tournament last year, and then Texas Southern was the 8th seed and they won the whole thing. But I just have to go with what's like. I really think it's between 2 teams. So I really like the way Alcorn is playing right now. They're playing very dominant on both ends of the floor. Coach Bussey has them playing great basketball at the right time, because this is the type of basketball you want to be playing heading into the tournament. You don't want to be on a struggle bus heading in trying to get the right footing. And then honestly, I think Grambling might be able to pull it out. They're a different team than last year, and they've just been playing really, really well. And even versus Southern, both times they were down by double digits, came back and beat them by double digits. So I'm betting on Grambling State or Alcorn.
All right. Again, senior night is Saturday. The game is at 2, but if you heard Coach Gordon at the 220 Club today, the luncheon, be there at 1. Ariana Grizzle is right now the only senior that's exhausting our eligibility. Now, I thought it was very cute that Coach Gordon said, oh, yeah, everybody has their eligibility. But look, everybody ain't coming back next year. We know that
It's
for
the
sure.
truth.
Yeah, everybody ain't coming back. But she is the only one that is exhausting all eligibility. And, man, we got to send her out of here. Last question for you, Liv. Can Grizzle still win SWAC Player of the Year?
So now on the women's side, I just think there's so many different variables playing into this that I don't know. Everyone is it's crazy. If that incident never happened, I would say Zay Green was going to run away with it. But then I'm like, I don't know if that's going to impact voters' decisions, or if they're just going to go with someone from the top 2 teams, because I'm seeing in other conferences, sometimes people just vote just to vote. Like, they're you're laughing and you know I'm being for real. Like, they'll just throw a name out there. And so I'm sitting on, I just don't know where the voters' minds are at or what they're going to go with. I think is she one of, the top 2 players in the conference? Yes. But considering FAMU is on, like, they're a bubble team right now, it's hard for people to vote for a player that's on a bubble team, because if we look at the men's side, Mississippi Valley has one of the most, like, lethal players in the SWAC men's basketball, but no one's talking about him because he plays for Valley. Like, it's hard to vote for someone that's they're one of the bottom teams. So maybe that.
So you have one vote. I'm going to give you one vote. You have one vote. You're a SWAC voter. Who are you voting for?
Oh my.
Yeah, I'm going to put you on the spot. Yeah.
That's the one that I'm just like.
You can always change it after the weekend.
I know. Oh, I don't know. I'm being very honest. I wouldn't care about saying who I thought it was. I'm just like, there's so many different things that play into it for me now. If that incident never happened, I was very vocal that Zay had my vote. But now I'm deciding, because UAPB didn't put out a statement, didn't say anything, I think it's going to hinder votes for her, because they said nothing. Like, because some people were in chat saying, oh, she was defending herself. Other people were saying other things. So I'm just like, they should have said something. But if we're talking about the best player in the conference, I'm sorry, but it is her. Like, but so Grizzle's right there. Okay. I probably would, because Grizzle's right there. But to me, when you're at a bottom team, and that's just how it is notoriously, like, people aren't going to, I don't see people voting for her simply because they're a lower tier team.
Not Maya Crump, not Angel Jackson.
Honestly, I just said the other day, I wouldn't be surprised if Maya Crump got Player of the Year. She's been the player, that team is very like even. You never know who's going to get off on any given night, but she's been the player who, in my opinion, has had the most games that has like had high numbers, big games, more than everybody else. So I wouldn't be surprised if she got it. I said that if she got it, I wouldn't be mad.
So let me make this prediction. If FAMU wins against BCU, if Grizzle has a big game, and if we go to the tournament and win one game, it's Grizzle.
I
Well,
don't see, and I don't know when voting. Usually, voting will
at the end
happen
of the
before
regular
the
season.
tournament.
Yeah, it'll happen at the end of the regular season.
So she has to get us in the tournament. Then we have to win the BCU game. She has to have a big game. Otherwise, I agree with
I would agree. It had to
that
be maybe one of those girls from J State.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Crump,
And if
but
it's going to be Crump, it's going to be, and I love her. She's one of my favorite players on that team. That's just typically what we see. We know Coach Reed's going to get Coach of the Year, as she should. She's undefeated. And then if it is someone from Jackson State, I will go on record saying it should be Maya Crump. But that's just my opinion. I'm a nobody.
25.
So.
When Grizzle drops 25 on senior night and puts FAMU in the tournament, bam, player of the year. There you go. There you go, JSU folks. Eat that. All right. Follow. I'm a sucker.
Coming.
Sorry to your mentions.
Hey, coming from where we came from.
Exactly. No one thought we would be where we were. You expected JSU to do what they're doing, but we're the team that nobody saw coming. You didn't. Coach Pressure got hired in August. Hell, if we don't want a couple more games, she might be up for Coach of the Year. But
no, she wouldn't. No, she wouldn't.
Okay.
I'm just being honest, because to be honest, if it wasn't Coach Reed being undefeated, the next in line would be Coach Simmons, because because yes, FAMU made a big jump, but when I looked back at the records, Grambling was the AC last year. They finished 9-9 in conference play, and now they're sitting second place they've won 19 games. So, I mean, Coach Gordon's had a great year. I'll say what she's done with the program is heading in the right direction, but she's not quite there yet.
Yep.
No, Liv, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Before, I know Brian's trying to slip out and everything, but I had a quick question. Actually, projecting the next year.
Yeah.
Grizzle, as you mentioned, Grizzle's gone. Her eligibility's up, and we just got we signed a good freshman who just won a state championship in the state of Louisiana. But I know it's early and we're going to get transfers, but what are projections for next year if all else remains the same? I mean, Grizzle's gone, and we'll be looking at the same scenario last year when Dylan Horton left, when our main scorer left, and you got people looking around like.
This is the thing, and so the freshman, from what I've seen and what I've watched, she's very much like an additional player. Like, to me, and that's what she is on her high school team. She's going to come in and give like the extra things, like a lankier, taller Nashani Gilbert. And I love Shawnee. So that's that. We also don't know who's going to come back. The portal is a crazy place, and a ton of people could jump into it because we don't know what we don't know. But I will say, if they do not get a dominant post player who is above the height of 6'2", I'm being so
Sharp
serious.
is 6'3". Coach said what's her name? Sharp is 6'3".
As
she
well
doesn't
as
play
a
like
true
she's
point.
6'3".
Okay, well, see, that's
as
I'm
well
just
as
saying,
a true point.
Yes, they need like a true facilitating point guard and a post player. Those should be the two things. And in my opinion, the post player has to be like either a JUCO player or a transfer. They have to come in with experience to give them that umph. Because when you look around the conference, both of Bethune's post players are coming back. Although Angel Jackson is graduating, they have people next in line. Like, they have post players lined up for days to step up to the plate. Grambling, their post players are coming back besides one. Like, all Texas Southern, their post players are all sophomores and juniors. So all the other teams have veteran post players. That is the biggest thing with this team for me. They have to. They just have to, point blank period. And like Kelvin said, a point guard, a true point guard, not a scoring point guard, someone who can facilitate. And they need to be in the watching film, Marcus. That's what they need to do. That goes for everybody, though. Yeah, don't do that. I said that the other day. I said that
it's true. It's true.
It is. It's a competitive conference now. And they have to keep up recruiting wise in the portal because everyone else is getting like transfers from big schools who come in and make immediate impact. So, I mean, we're waiting to see Gordon's vision, and next year we will see the next phase of it. So,
right. Hey, coach said she got a lot of people hitting her up on the DMs. A lot of girls hitting her up saying they want to come to FAMU. So I guess good problems to have. She's gonna have her pick of the litter. They want to come play for Coach Pressure. So we'll see. But this team's got to get it done Saturday, and we hope everybody will come and check them out. Get there at 1:00. Be there for senior night pregame. Pack the pit. We need a great crowd at 2:00 when the ball goes up against BCC, so we can make sure we beat them, okay, and then get to the SWAC tournament. Make sure thank you to everybody for coming in. Hang tight. Liv, we always appreciate, love you at Live for Hoops or Die Lonely, like I say, at Live for Hoops. That's where you can find her. Great basketball commentary, men, women's, HBCU, SWAC, D1, D2, NAIA. Liv covers it all, folks. So, that's it. Liv, anything you want to close with?
No, but I know that if your team makes it to the SWAC tournament, you got everyone be there to support your team. And I know FAMU, if those Lady Rattlers make it to Birmingham, y'all better make that drive and show up. Like,
we invading Birmingham.
Hey, Liv,
what's that say right there? What's that say? We don't come to Birmingham like this. That's right. Telling y'all. Yeah.
Save that. Okay. Save the neck.
Hey, come on. Whose side are you on? You really?
Listen,
really
have you?
Hey, they in my head, man. They in my head.
Yeah. Damn, man, come on. Thought we were friends.
We are. Liv, are you going to the conference tournament?
Yeah, I'll be there the first 2 days. It's so long. I have a life, so I will be there the first 2 days so I can watch. So I can watch all the teams participate and at least play in the quarterfinals and see everyone play. But it's too long. The CIAA, all these tournaments are a week long. Like, people have work and life. Like,
yeah. We'll talk. Hey, maybe next week we can get you live from Birmingham. We'll talk about the proposed changes to the SWAC schedule that has already come out. Well, it's out. It's being talked about. It has to be approved, but I want to get your take on it. We'll talk about it next week, though, when you're live in Birmingham. All right.
Sounds good.
Safe travels to Birmingham. We hopefully will talk to you next week. Have a great week watching hoops. And again, one of the best follows on Twitter on a game day or game night. That's at Live for Hoops. Hang tight, folks. Real quick commercial coming back with Rhea Floyd right here on the other side. You're watching the O&G StrikeZone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
We're back. It's time for the 2024 Urban NerdCon. Join us in Atlanta, Georgia, April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel. Special guests include Underworld creator Kevin Grievous, Gary Gray from Fairly Odd Parents, from Nickelodeon, Giovanni Samuels, the Science Machine Michael Green, the Sci-Fi Sisters, and from Spaceballs and Star Trek Voyager, Tim Russ.
Hi, I'm Tim Russ. Join me April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia for the Urban NerdCon. Our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone con. I'll see you there. Live long and prosper.
Visit theurbannerdcon.net to get your buy one, get one free badges before the price increases. Remember, our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone's con. See you there.
We're going to Florida, and we're going to bring you back a victory to Jackson. God to y'all!
What you say now, Chuck? Man, you a plumb fool, man.
I'm choosing violence. I'm choosing violence. I don't care what you say. I'm choosing.
You a plum fool? You a plum fool?
I love you plum fools in the chat room. That's all right. I love y'all. I just had to get that in there. Rhea, sorry that you had to walk into that. How you doing this evening? Rhea Floyd, ladies and gentlemen, joining us. How you doing tonight?
Hi everybody. I'm good. Actually tired though.
Yeah.
Just got done with the doubleheader baseball game and softball game. So just doing this last little thing before I call it a night.
How'd baseball go? How'd the doubleheader with baseball go?
It was long. Not sure about the first game because I was at softball as the first game was going on. Ended up going to the second game to finish that one out. And it was a 6-4. Ball State got us 6-4. But it was a good rally at the end. That last out actually was, we thought the ball was going over this fence and it was going to tie it up, but he ended up catching it right at the fence. But it was a good fight from our team. I liked everything that I saw. So
great. All right. Well, hey, I think it's what I'm liking about what I'm seeing, in the non-conference stuff with the baseball program is we are in these games. We are competitive. Yeah. Some SWAC schools I've seen getting beat like
30-1.
30-1, 25-5. It's like embarrassing. But I'm liking the fact that we are competitive and we gotten a couple of wins, and so it's good to see. First off, I got to give you your flowers, Rhea, because the event this weekend, the ceremony, the induction ceremony that for Coach Wiggins was chef's kiss. It was awesome. And from just visually, a great job. The live video, the presentation. Let people know kind of what goes into pulling all of that together and making it happen. Give people a little background on all of that.
Well, I'll say thank you, but it wasn't all just me. Actually, our AD had the vision, so she called me into her office one day and she was just like, Coach Wiggins naming ceremony. I said, okay, what's your vision? Between her and Josh, it was me, her, and Josh. We were all in the office, and she ran down kind of program, give us a tent, some finger foods, and just took that and ran with it from there. So took her vision and just exemplified her vision of the event. She was with baseball, so she was like coming in straight from the event. So she's from baseball, so she didn't know what it looked like until we got there. But it was actually excited to pull it off for everybody, and especially for Coach Wiggins to see that. We knew me and Coach Patterson throughout the week, we connected and we stayed on the same accord. I told her, I was like, hey, I need this. I need a couple of former players to talk on the program. And she was right back with me. She even texted me like the day of the program, was like, we're adding another player to the program. So just like I said, it's not just me. It was a team of us that put it together, and I was excited with everything how it turned out.
Yeah, even with the former players who were there, everybody. I mean, they were short and sweet. You didn't have to. I love the. You didn't have to Oscar anybody off. You had to play any music.
I was a little nervous though, because I think I had told Coach Patterson, I was just like, okay, can I get 2 players? And then I got the list of names, and it went from 5 to 6 in the next morning. So the biggest thing was, okay, we have a program, We have 6 players that want to talk. Granted, I know anybody that gets up there to talk about Coach Wiggins has a story to tell, So that's what it's like. Okay, we got to wrap these visions up in 2 minutes because the biggest thing is we had to do our first pitch on time. But one good and bad thing that ended up happening, Jacksonville University, they ended up showing up a little late for their warm-up, so it gave us some extra time to go on with the ceremony. But even with that happening, and even with all 6 of the former players talking, we ended up pitching right on time at 3:00, so we were good to go.
You love it. You love it when a plan comes together and boom, start on time, and we got a win in the first game. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Yes.
Real talk about this weekend, specifically the Bethune game. What are some things that are going on that the fans should know about and be excited about?
Okay, so of course it is senior night. We're going to honor our 3 basketball seniors, but we also have 5 cheerleaders that we're going to honor as well. We have 5 senior cheerleaders and then 3 basketball players. But on top of that, we have Collegiate Lux. They are our official sponsor for senior night. They are doing raffles of gear that they have. We have some sweatshirts to raffle off. We have some jean jackets to raffle off. I think we put a promo video out there today just showing off one of the jean jackets that they'll be raffling off. And then also we have t-shirts for as supplies last. They haven't gave me a number on exactly how many, but he said he's shooting off t-shirts as we speak right now to give t-shirts to the first couple, first 100 or so people that come in to the game. So we're excited about having Collegiate Lux out. His biggest thing is he just wanted to get people at the game, get people excited for the game, and give out free gear. So, hey, free gear if you come to the game this weekend and to support our seniors as they in their home season in the Lawson Center.
Let me ask another question. Does this game have a color associated with it? And just tell me your approach in terms of marketing and programming for sports in terms of crowd participation or attendance.
So this game does have a color. It's white. Of course, our home color is white, but we kind of gauge the colors off of the different things that happen for the different games. Of course, when we do our black games, granted, black's a neutral color. I get it all the time. Why are we having a black game? Because it's a neutral color. But our black games fell on our Martin Luther King Day game, and then it also fell on our Greek night. So it's a way to still get people out to the games. Granted, a lot of people join into the colors, and some people, don't join into the colors. We're not making you wear the color, but we would like to see you all in a color. For football season, it looks amazing to look up in the stands and see everybody in white and everybody in green and everybody in orange. So we just want to keep that same momentum into basketball season as well when we do these different colored games. And then what was the second part of the question? I'm sorry.
Just your approach, in the athletic department's approach in terms of programming the crowds, basically, both from attendance and participation.
So we kind of do polls with people. Granted, it's like unofficial polls, but we have a marketing team that gets out there, and a lot of our marketing team is based off of students. Well, not a lot of the whole marketing team is based off of students. So we get their visions and things for what they want to see at the games. And as games progress, more ideas come to me from what the students want to see. And that's kind of the vision that I take moving into like the different seasons. Actually, like Greek night this past Monday, the Monday that we had Greek night when we played Alabama A&M on the 26th, while we were at that game, I had a bunch of different students come up to me and be like, can we have this kind of night? Can we have this kind of night? Can we have this kind of night? And I was just like, of course, like if y'all want to see it happen, I'm here to help make it happen for y'all because we want these games to be enjoyable for y'all to come to the game. So it was fun actually like hearing from the students at the game, like, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? So yeah, that's kind of my approach is just, I'm really big on like listening to what others have to say and their visions and then just executing it from there.
Okay. Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, Rhea, thank you for joining us. And I guess my question would be a continuation of what Kelvin was asking. I guess it's kind of a twofold question. Within the, I guess, the confines of the university FAMU structure, how much free reign do you have as it relates to marketing? And I guess the other piece I wanted to ask is kind of related to that is, I guess, either traditionally or maybe just by perception, FAMU is kind of looked at as a football school. Mm-hmm. And how do you pull out or how do you gauge the level of basketball interest or invigorate the level of basketball interest to try to at least approximate or at least get some level of closeness to football when it comes to fan attendance or even just attraction for the game?
So to answer the first question, the free range, I don't really have too much free range because we do have to stay within some of the sponsorship rights that we do have as far as it comes to marketing. So I have some limitations, not too many, but some limitations. Granted, the Office of Communications, they have been partnering with us with different things. I think one big thing that has helped this year within that has been like the collaboration part that you can do on the different platforms. And it doesn't only just stick to one group of people. So then you can target your FAMU Athletics people and you can target your FAMU 1887 people as well. So the collaboration parts helped with the marketing, but that's in conjunction with the Office of Communications because you can request it, but if they're not on the same page with you, they don't have to accept it. So that kind of helps on that end. And one thing for the try to gauge the same interest in basketball as you do football is it's been a struggle, not even gonna lie to you. But you know, I lean on like alumni to kind of tell me what worked for them in the past when everybody was excited about coming to a basketball game. I know Coach Clement Johnson, like he's been a big help on like just giving me vision on stuff that like happened back in the day to try to see how different ways to include that into games now to get people excited about the basketball games. Granted, you know, I think football, you have the Marching 100. So instead of asking for a pep band for the basketball games, you know, I branch out there and ask for the whole band. You know, sometimes I've even in the past before asked about the like having the band perform at a game. Granted, this year we did open it up to different orgs and stuff within the community. We put that out early, getting the community involved and performing at the games to help gauge attendance with like if my child is performing, then I need the parents got to come too. The little sisters, the little brothers need to come too. So trying to get all of that stuff out there and just really engage the community on coming to the games to try to help them around.
Hey, you talked earlier about that engagement with students. Can you maybe share a little, maybe a percentage or an idea of how much or what's the mix between students, because obviously, yeah, you want to get the students, because I think when the students are at the game, it can be fun and exciting. Because I mean that these are the best times of our lives. When we were in college, right before everything got serious, college was it, man. I used to enjoy going to basketball games in Gaither back then. But you know, then there's the portion of the alumni and the adults in the community. How do you gauge, or maybe give us a background or some info on kind of what that percentage, or how you manage your alumni, who are a lot of times I mean, they're the ones buying the season tickets, and who you're hoping are buying the season tickets and stuff. But then your students, because when the students are there and when the students are active, that's when the games are really fun.
Right. So for the alumni portion of it, granted, I can't say like this year our attendance for alumni is higher than it has been in the past. I was excited to see that, especially when it came time to doing the above the rim area and getting their items and stuff together for basketball season. We looked at the numbers and we were just like, oh wow, we weren't expecting that. But you know, when I'm at the games, if I'm not working at the moment, when I do have a little breaks, like I tend to go around and talk to people, listen to what they have to say. Granted, the alumni, what they really tell me is they just want to support. They just want to know how they can support all of that good stuff. So just trying to tap in with more alums to see how they can support and what they could do to get into the community. I actually had a talk with Dr. Leela Walker earlier this week, and she was just like, what can we do to help pack out the game this weekend? And she told me like some things that they've done in the past on tickets and like a discounted ticket and all that good stuff on helping to pack out the game. So I told her I'd take her suggestion and run it up the food chain to see if, you know, it can happen for this weekend just to help. So just talking to different alums, like I take suggestions all the time on what they could do to help, what has been done in the past to gauge alumni to come to the games, and then just trying to take that and implement it as well. And then like the students, like I said, just listening to like their vision and what helps them come. Granted, we have this one student that works in our office now as an intern, and he's been at every single basketball game that we've had. And it's so funny, like listening to the players and the cheerleaders come out and they're like, where's our guy? Is he here? If he's not here, then I know no one's coming to the game. And then they look up and they see him. He's like the loudest one in the crowd. So I talk to him while he's in the office, like kind of gauge and see like, you know, what can work, what cannot work. Like I run ideas by him just to get the students' perspective on like what they would like to see and what like possesses them to come to the games as well. So yeah, I say all the time, like I'm not a talker, but I will talk to different people to get more ideas though. So
hey, we got to get that student out, like they do with the telecommunication. You know, the guys they have out there on the street with the signs, spinning the signs like we can get him out on the set. Like, hey, come to the game this way. It's that way. You know, we get him.
And he would do it too. And it's because it's funny because every day, like every game day, he comes by, even though he's not a marketing intern, he'll be like, y'all need help in doing anything. Like, I'm ready to assist with everything. And I was just like, yeah. Well, I said the girls, because I have like a couple of girls that are like the lead interns for basketball. I said, they know where you sit. They're coming to get you at the game to help with whatever. So yes, he's a great one.
Was there, and somebody had asked in the chat about, obviously we know spring break is coming up for the weekend. Was there any consideration about moving senior night off of this particular weekend? What can you share the logistics of of that? And was there any thought to it? Just to answer somebody's question on in the chats.
Unfortunately, it wasn't, and it just every other year we kind of run into this problem on the way that the schedule works out to the way that the last game works out as well. Granted, we were talking, me and Josh were actually talking today, and we were just like, it's the senior night just happens to fall on the Saturday leading into spring break. And then it just happens to be the BCU game. Granted, we're like, well, if we went back to last year, our BCU game happened during Christmas break. Like, so it's like we either get it during Christmas break or we get it during spring break with the BCU game. But, of course, you want to make sure that your senior night is the last game that's played in Lawson, and unfortunately the tables just turned to have us have our last game the Saturday going into spring break. But I know it's all on the scheduling that the SWAC does for basketball games, because last year we were lucky enough to get senior night the week before, so it would have been last Saturday if it was in last year's schedule. So
and let me expound on that a little bit. So the SWAC sets the conference schedule, and BCU is our travel partner. So we start off the season with them every year. They flip-flop who's at home. So this year it fell where they played at home first before everybody that came back from Christmas break, the New Year's break. And then we always the last game. We the first and the last conference game. That's just the way it shakes out. Florida State had the same issue. They played University of Miami at home for their senior night this Saturday. So it's not just a SWAC thing.
Yeah. Well, I would love for us to, and not you, Rhea, but I'm talking like us fans, whomever, media, alumni, to fuss a little louder with the SWAC and say, hey, stop scheduling this Bethune-Cookman, our rival game, at the beginning of the season when everyone's on Christmas break, and at the end of the season when everybody's on spring break. It's hurting the gate, not only for us, but them too. And especially us, because we got a 5 times bigger stadium. But anyway, it is what it is, but it hurts us more. Go ahead, Marcus. You want to get any last thoughts in there with Rhea? Because she's been there all night. I know she's ready to go home.
I did have a quick question, or actually,
go ahead.
It seems like it opens suggestions, and I have a couple old articles, and Kelvin knows I keep stuff in that little repository that talked about some marketing stuff, and I don't know if we've already approached it or not, but one's like articles like 10, 15 years ago that Ohio State did, where they had some marketing and you would get student points for attending. Of course, their football was the big thing. You got no points for that, but you could build up points to get things in the bookstore and various things for other Olympic sports. And I didn't know if we ever considered something like that, if you can get buy-in from the university to sponsor that. And the other thing, I'm a big Atlanta Hawks fan from the ATL, and there was an article, I want to say 5-6 years ago. Yeah, and we beat the Cavaliers tonight. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. Just came across the scrolling. But there was an article, I guess the marketing guy for the Hawks a few years ago said they were chasing this, and not to be, discriminatory, they called it this great white unicorn, where they were doing all this marketing towards this mythical white male customer that was out there supposed to save the NBA. And they did their studies and looked at their demographics and say, hey, we need to change who we're marketing to, because, ATL's like Chocolate City South, and we need to market it and brand and make things that are customized for the people who are actually showing up versus this mythical figure that the NBA purports to be the ticket holder of desired ticket holder. So I don't know to what degree all that would converge to FAMU, or if there's anything in either one of those articles or nuggets or studies that would be beneficial. And that's not for you to answer now, but just if you're interested, they're a few years ago, you probably may have already read them and probably already roll them into your marketing, but just as a matter of just taking another look at something.
Yeah. You can feel free to send it my way and I'll, read it. I haven't heard the white unicorn. I haven't heard of that one. So interesting to definitely read that. So yeah.
Okay. I'll dig it up and I'll send it to you. I think I follow you on social media, but you don't have it on your thing here. So for folks who have ideas, they might not be able to get it to you. But I think
how can people, if people have, I don't know, I'm open to can of worms here, but if people have ideas and suggestions or thoughts, how would you be open? How can people contact you? Would you want people to contact you with ideas and suggestions?
Sure. I take all ideas and suggestions. The easiest way is to contact me via email. I'm not a big social media person as far as like my personal social media. So definitely email.
All right. And I'm obviously we can find the email on the athletic page, but if you want to go ahead and give your email out, feel free.
It's Ria, RIA Floyd, FLOYD @famu.edu.
All right, very simple. So you guys you can send Ria an email and say thank her for coming on the show and that you love all the stuff that she's doing from her department. And yeah, if you want to slip in a suggestion or idea, you never know. You never know. Ria's big on giving people credit. So you drop a good idea in the tank, you might get some credit. The next big thing, real quick, Ria, that I saw, we have the student athlete. What is it? Vegas, like the student athlete awards are coming up, right? The FANG Awards. We may not have you on before it. Is that going to be? Is that open to the public? Is it? What can you tell us about the plans for that?
I know they're still in the planning process right now on the FANG Awards. So the FANG Awards is our end of the year awards banquet that is put on by the student athletes themselves. So SAC is the host. SAC is the spearhead around the FANG Awards. So they start from the top to the bottom. They plan out everything. We have a date. We have a location. I don't know all the details around the FANG Awards as of yet. And they're still working with things because I know there is potentially some buy-in from the boosters that they want to help assist with the FANG Awards. So that was a great take on it this year. So more information coming soon on that, but it is scheduled for the 22nd of April.
All right. I'm excited. I actually want to come up to Tallahassee for that, man. I want to check that out. I want to be in the house for that, man.
It was a great time last year. Of course, SAC hosted it, and of course, each team does their team awards. But they have overall awards. They have a thing called the Rattler Cup, and it's all accumulated off of points that is given to each team throughout the year, and the team with the most points at the end of the year wins the Rattler Cup. And last year it went home with the track team. So, we'll see who gets to take the Rattler Cup home this year.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Ria Floyd, one of the hardest working people in FAMU Athletics.
Absolutely.
Don't let her be modest and tell you anything. Don't let anybody tell you differently. Still there late night. Ria, any final words that you want to say to the people on the way out?
Just thank y'all for all y'all support. It really means a lot. And go Rattlers.
Go Rattlers. Thank you, Ria. Drive safe going home. Have a good night.
Thanks, Ria.
We'll see you this weekend. Pack the pit, right? Pack the pit this weekend. Yep.
Yes,
Amen.
sir.
All right. Be well, Ria.
Bye.
All right. Good to have Ria Floyd join us. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Appreciate everybody and the suggestions and comments and questions in the chat room. You guys are hilarious. Love you.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. While we got a little bit of time, we got to hit on a few things. And I know we don't want to be too long. Marcus, I know Marcus has been grinding. So I know this segment here is not going to go long. So, Marcus, you are our arbiter and bell. So, don't let this thing go. I would say 20 minutes, Marcus. If you don't let this thing go past 20 minutes, got it?
Okay.
Hang in there, hang in. Marcus, like, I got you. I hear you. But we got to talk about a couple things. Regarding the state of FAMU athletics. Couple of interesting articles that have been written and reported on, and some events that happen. Let's first start with the Blueprint board and their vote as the Blueprint board votes to seek. Well, let me rephrase that. The stadium renovation, additional funds for the stadium renovation, Bragg Stadium renovations, came before the Blueprint board. Now, this is members of the Blueprint governmental agency, right? Kelvin, explain, if you can, briefly what the Blueprint board is, who they are, how it works.
So I think Blueprint was started somewhere around 2000. It's governed by both the Leon. Is a joint venture by the Leon County as well as the city of Tallahassee. The commissioners for both are the ones that vote on the different things that are approved. Is recommended by staff though, as to what projects are getting voted on and potentially funded. It's a tax that's collected, additional penny tax, I think really it is, that's collected from when folks come from out of town, the hotels and so forth, that kind of helps fund this thing. And it was in like 27 million, I think it was at 40 million, but for Florida State was a part of that funding. The 10 million we got to do the first phase of Bragg was part of that funding. TCC baseball field got some funding from it to do that. The intent was not initially to necessarily do community stadiums and so forth, but because of the impact that these events have and the amount of people they bring into the city, it became a political football, and they got into this business. So in a nutshell, that's what it is though. It's a local governance thing in which visit taxes are put together and collected and put toward projects within the city.
All right. So this was Thursday, the last day of the month. Members of the, I'm reading right here out of Tallahassee Democrat, members of the Blueprint Intergovernmental Agency on Thursday denied Florida A&M's immediate request for $15 million, but voted 11-1 with Leon County Commissioner David O'Keefe dissenting to seek funding for Bragg Stadium renovations through the Office of Economic Vitality rather than with Blueprint infrastructure funds. But funding is tight at OEV after the board made up of city and county commissioners awarded Florida State University $27 million for Doak Campbell Stadium in 2022 after a bitter 9-month battle. Amazing that Florida State, with all the money coming into their coffers, would actually need the city of Tallahassee to. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. But so the delay in getting money for the stadium, which the renovations of Part 3 would have been what? Bathrooms, concessions,
lighting,
ADA.
ADA.
And I I don't know, Kelvin. Maybe I'm wrong here. Elevators, right? I could be wrong. It won't be the first time, won't be the last. But I kind of felt when that came out that this is just the comments have been made that, oh, we owe it to the city of Tallahassee to be good stewards of the money they provided, and that's sort of the backbone of a little bit of the argument as to why we didn't renew with the Orange Blossom Classic, or maybe why we're not looking at exploring playing games. And yes, I know we have a great home winning streak. Yes, I know the kids love playing at Bragg, but there's also something about the game day experience and some of the failures of the stadium. Am I simplifying that too much with my thoughts that, hey, this is now just exhibit A that can be thrown back out at somebody the next time the argument about, oh, we need to play 5 home games in Bragg Memorial Stadium, so on and so forth. Am I simplifying that too much? What are your thoughts?
God bless the child that has his own, Bryan. Instead of asking people for what you deserve or what you owed, you go out and there were other options that we should have rightfully exercised, and we can still pursue this option, but we kind of hurt ourselves by putting all our eggs in one basket. And here's what I mean. I know, being local and having some contacts all over this city and county, that it was a fight to get that 10 million, and a lot of people didn't want us to have that, but we got that through. So the chances of us getting this additional 15 million is wasn't likely. Let's put it that way. Regardless, of the arguments that can be made for it. But what we can control, I believe you do what you can control. And I think it was lazy to make some of the decisions that were made, to be honest. We talked about a P3. We actually put a RF procurement out for a P3. We got offers back, responses back that to the P3 for an athletic phase of the P3. We're doing dorms. The first 2 phases, we're doing the dorms. The second phase of the dorms is going up now, and we decided to use HBC loan money. The P3 would involve private funding. So I really think we need to re-look at that and the phase and do a P3, athletic P3 for phase 3. But we're gonna have to do some other things structurally as a university also, because there was a board of trustees meeting that kind of got into the whole structure of athletics and what we're trying to do, and I'll get into that later. But at the end of the day, you're right. We say we're not gonna go to the OBC. We say we're not gonna do a guaranteed and do a game in Jacksonville, even though folks brought these things to the table. We say we're not going to do the P3, and now here we are, don't have the 15 million, and we still have the needs of improving our concessions, improving our lighting, improving our ADA, and so forth. So that's why it's important that administrators put in the work. I think, instead of waiting on handouts, for me, honestly, the answer for everything is come ask the Luna, ask the NAA, ask the 220 Club, and that's fine. We got a role to play in that. I get that part, but they have a role to play in that. And I think the board of trustees actually did a great job of pushing back with the administration and telling them, hey, we got to get out of this mom and pop mentality we have about how we doing operating athletics and having to try to come up with money running deficits because we're not showing the true cost up front in the budget. And then university's coming back saying, well, we're doing the best we can. We can't show it at the beginning of the budget because we have to have a budget that's balanced. And this has been an argument that you all know I've been making for years, and it was an argument when I was in athletics that I made too. We know what the real cost of running a Division I program at FAMU. We know that number is somewhere around 15 million.
Yep.
And so why don't we just make that 15 million, and then on the expense side, where we getting that money from, put a question mark, but show it up front, because it just is not a smart way to operate, frankly, right? And it doesn't build confidence or transparency the way we do it. So no, that's my thoughts. We gave up revenue opportunities, and we talk about home games, but it's hard to fly into Tallahassee on the weekends. We got conflicts with Florida State. Even homecoming this year got conflicts. Hotels aren't available. There's logistical reasons, but more importantly, financial reasons for athletics, and that's what I like to focus on. Why, to me, 4 home games, a neutral site, classic in Jacksonville, Atlanta, what have you, would be the sweet spot, I think, for FAMU football, given the situations we have to deal with.
Marcus, you want to add anything before we move over into that board of trustees meeting? Anything you want to add about this blueprint decision?
No, it wasn't really surprising. And I saw folks like, well, Florida State got 27 million, 22 million. I mean, like Kelvin said, we got to get some stuff in order. And it was a tall task to get it. And I know the committee said, well, if we give 15 million, it'll compromise other projects on the already underway. So there's a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of momentum that was against the decision. So putting all the eggs in that basket, I mean, now puts us in a position where you have nothing. I mean, it was all or nothing, which isn't a good place to be in. And that's all I would say about that.
So the board of trustees meeting happened today, and athletic department VP AD Sykes gave her update, but more importantly, the foundation chair,
Friday Stroud,
Dr. Friday Stroud spoke.
Friend of the program from our first season. I think it was the first year.
Maybe first or second, one of the two. Yeah. But very interesting back and forth with the board of trustees. Kelvin, give a little summary and your thought. Again, I was listening to part of it, but again, I'm at school. I got distractions going on around me. Summarize a little bit of that back and forth with the board of trustees and Dr. Friday Stroud.
So, what essentially, first of all, I want to commend Dr. Stroud, Friday Stroud, for her transparency and her willingness to openly talk about some of the challenges and so forth. But essentially, it's centered around that we have limited options, and they presented a amendment to the budget for the foundation. And in that amendment, they were giving, I think, $400,000 additional dollars to athletics. But they had an itemized, to my surprise, they had a list of what it would specifically go to. And well, it was 2 things. So they had summer school for student athletes.
For more than just football players. For more than just football players.
Correct. For student athletes. For all student athletes, right.
Yeah.
And they pointed to the APR and the championships. That investment led from this past summer, because even when I was at the athletic department, summer school was not an option because there wasn't the money there to do it. And I think Colonel Clark, when he first became president of the NAA, they were the first DSOs to start raising money specifically so that we could get more of our student athletes into summer school. It hurt, for instance, teams like volleyball, because they had international students in a lot of cases, and they weren't getting here and getting cleared because there was no summer school to the fall, and their season started 2 weeks after they come back. So they, oftentimes some of them student athletes weren't even eligible for the first couple of weeks, weren't available for the first couple of weeks of the season. So it does help to get the freshmen and the new students orientated during the summer. It's just a benefit. So they was giving 400,000 of that. I think 200,000 to the band for travel to one SWAC game, and I forgot what the other was for, but the board was concerned because they were saying every year it's the same thing. Every year we start off with a budget, and then we have these amendments to the budgets to cover things that are legitimate, but they was trying to figure out why.
Like, how come no one playing for this stuff?
Yeah,
or nickel and diming.
Yeah, why we do this every year? Why we do it this way every year? So, and it was great points, and they was pushing. Hey, we got to rethinking about how this thing should be. And I've always been an advocate that we have state universities here with highly functional boosters and associations that we can mimic at our level. It's not going to be at the level that they do it, but in terms of how they structure it and the foundation, it makes too much sense. And I give you an example. So the University of Florida, their entire athletic department is a non-for-profit. It's called the University Athletic Association. So, and they fully self-functional. Within the University Athletic Association at the University of Florida, not only are the salaries and all that kind of stuff paid, but they have their own procurement office. So they do their own procurements, not the university. They have their own staff that focus nothing. They have their own foundation people and people who raise money. They have real estate specialists that run their properties. So they run it as a business, and because it's a non-for-profit, you also get the tax credits and the tax breaks. To me, that makes like a lot of sense for us to set up our athletic department similar, and we can do that at our scale.
Kelvin, let me ask you. I want to jump in because what you're talking. We've been talking. I've known you for like 20 years, and probably like 19 of them we've been talking about this.
Yeah.
But just based on what you described going on at the University of Florida, is the FAMU culture and paradigm, especially in Lee Hall, set up to allow athletics to have that level of autonomy?
Not right now, but we got to get there, and that's what the board. I was really proud of the board pushing and asking. They were asking the right questions. They was probing, and they were doing to me what a board should do, and it was respectful and professional. But at the end of the day, what we can't do is continue to do what we've always done. What we're doing is not successful. It's not a successful model. So they were pushing the administration and the foundation to consider modeling themselves after some of our peers and so forth. The boosters, for instance, they fall under I'm talking at the University of Florida and in Florida State, they fall under the governance structure of the executive board for the University Athletic Foundation or Association, right? So the boosters still have their own board, and they the fundraising arm for athletics. But there are other pieces to it, such as Learfield. They're with Learfield also, who has a whole marketing team and a sponsorship donation team. So the foundation don't seek out corporate sponsors for athletics. The athletic directors who are hired by Learfield, who are part of this University Athletic Association, they the ones go out and get corporate sponsors and so forth. The benefit to that is many, but to keep it simple, there's no mixed loyalties. You know, when you get somebody from the foundation who, working for the university, but not necessarily athletics, who's considered auxiliary, there's no incentive, there's no priority there. There's also a lack of expertise there as to what kind of inventory and what kind that you can offer, and what's the sports industry norms. So I would love to see, and I'm going to bring this up when we have the town hall in Tampa, and for the FAMU NAA, and I'm going to go ahead. I drafted some stuff before. I'm going to get all that stuff and refresh it, and give the things I'm talking about now. Give a possible solution to the powers that be, and hopefully see if they'll finally come into, I don't know what we call this. It ain't a millennium no more, but come into 2025 and think corporate and business, and how we operate our athletic department.
The quarter century mark. So were they asking these questions to Dr. Robinson? I mean, a lot. I mean, because he's there. He's the head of the snake. And
He was there, of course. He was on the call and he jumped in, but Dr. Friday primarily was the one speaking, and frankly, she's probably the most knowledgeable about these things anyway, in terms of the campus administration. So I didn't have an issue with that. What I would say is this though, and I did make sure I want to make this point. I need my athletic director and my president, to what you getting at, to be more active, more engaged, and more committed to stepping up to make this happen. The athletic campaign. I know somebody said something. Eddie Jackson mentioned about $1 million athletic campaign fundraiser. That's Eddie Jackson, and I appreciate him, and all the DSOs are stepping up and doing things. You all know there's some things I'm doing on my own because people are reaching out and they just need those help. We shouldn't have coaches and student athletes, begging for money to get rings. We should have that money. We shouldn't have them begging for equipment. I mean, just normal operating stuff, right? Tents, for example. So, right now, there's a there's a potential deficit in athletics, and so the way we operating ain't working.
Nope.
And so we need corporate sponsorship. We need people working 24/7 whose job is nothing to do. Go out and get those corporate sponsorships. We need naming rights. We need the athletic campaign. I want people to go and look at the University of Florida booster site and just look at the first page and see how many endowed scholarship programs they have. It was so long, man. I got tired of scrolling, man. And my point is, we're not going to have it at their scale, but you should mimic excellence, right?
Yeah.
And we got to start somewhere. That is a great place to start, man. Let's get our university athletic association set up. Let's get our DSOs and athletic funds and all that set up. Let's have that executive board and from all the affinity groups a part of that, along with some appointed people who may be knowledgeable of how these things should work. Let's have this all documented plan in the beginning of 2025. Athletic calendar, July 1. All this should be in place. There's no reason why we can't shoot and make that happen.
Melissa Wilson, is there a strategic plan for athletics? We haven't seen it. I haven't seen. Have you seen it?
Not from this administration, no.
Not from this administration. Yeah. I mean, we've seen the chart of who is what and what they supposedly are brought in to do, but we haven't seen them. We haven't seen the fruits of their labor. You know, and I know this administration is only 14 months in.
I don't want to hear that no more.
Oh no, I was just saying that as just to give people a time. I wasn't. Oh hell, I wasn't giving no excuse.
You inherit this situation. You accepting the paycheck, so do the job.
And you know, I when I bring that and see that's the crazy part. And at the same respect, like I said, while we want to give credit, we do give credit. We have to be willing to add. You can't sit here and tell me, and I was reading in the article how the budget has been balanced over the last several years, and it's a rough budget. Now, I heard a trustee say it. When are we going to start operating like a mid-major pro? We're not even talking about operating like a Power 5 program, but we're a mid-major program with the minimum Division I sport. When are we going to start acting like one? When are we going to start? There are HBCUs that are operating better than FAMU. You know, I had someone call me and ask. They were talking about the band situation, and the one thing I kept thinking about, guys, I said, well, how does Grambling State move? How does Jackson State's band? How does Southern's band operate? I mean, you mean to tell me what's the structure? How come we can't create a structure? And just goes to the point that you said. There are people doing it. North Carolina A&T. Mr. Campbell brought that up. There are people operating in a space and with a structure that is replicable. But who's going to do that? So when we talk about the problems with leadership, right? This is what we get to. Two things can be right at the same time. People can be doing a great job, but people can also not be doing the things that need to happen for us to really grow. Two things can be correct. So we can pat people on the back. We can applaud for doing great things. But at the same time, there's a lot of misses right now.
Gotta raise money. You gotta raise money and build relationships. That's a minimum. That's a minimum for me. That and getting the plan together. I think we're gonna have to help that process. That's why I'm looking forward to the National Alumni Association convention at the beginning of June, and hopefully this town hall, and where we can put things into action. And I love the response of Rattler Nation. I think we really are responding compared to what we've been asked to do. And I think we could do more, but as the trustees pretty much put out there, our administration internally, we got to get more out of them. They got to want more. They got to work for more, and they're gonna have to be pushed. Frankly, it's not a natural thing. Their response for everything is, you all need to do more. You everybody else but them. Their response to everything is get the alumni and everybody else to do more. No, they've got to pull their weight too.
It starts at the top. It starts at the top, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's the, again, I said this a couple years ago. If our president treated our athletic department like one of the academic programs at our university, this wouldn't happen. But he doesn't. And that's why we have the situation we have. That's all I'm saying. And I tell me I'm wrong. And I bet you can't. Because
and Bryan, the sad part about it for me is we're on a winning streak now. We got championship programs, championship coaches and athletes
all over the place. The brand's never been hotter.
The iron is hot. while
without
the iron
the
is hot.
what they need, right? Just
Yes,
imagine if we
exactly.
give them what they deserve. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a couple of great. I thought a couple of great, interesting articles brought out by my favorite blog, Rattler Nation. And
Yeah.
look, I know sometimes y'all sometimes they can be a little messy.
Yeah, it can
Uh,
get
but
messy.
but the one but but the one thing though that everything, like a lot of times when the university publicizes things, it's coming from a positive spin. Um, even sometimes coming from the Tallahassee Democrat, positive spin. I mean, sometimes you need to know
Sometimes.
you need to have the other side. You need to know where the bodies and the dirt is so that it can be swept up, because enough things are continually being swept under the rug or pushed into another corner. And so if no one ever talks about it, if we keep look, we can brag different all day, but at the end of the day, that's only sustainable for so long. We got to we talked about striking while the iron's hot. Now's the perfect time to get your house in order. This is our time for our athletic administration to
Well, they
really.
want a committee. That's at the end of the day, they want the university to put together a committee, and to me that committee should be the structure of a executive athletic committee in terms of a athletic association uh that is 305.
But
Now,
see, if you're putting a committee together, to me it feels
no,
like
no,
it's
no, no. You got to have committees. The
okay.
problem in this case is not is that is not that you don't have a committee, but you got to have a committee that's diverse. If you look at the boards and the committees of the Florida State and Florida, you have to have everybody to tape. So they have the DSO leadership presidents and stuff like that of those organizations. They have the athletic administration. They have the leadership team folks, but then they have a bunch of folks also that are businessmen, fundraisers, lawyers, um, alumni. Uh, you know, they have people who are experts, and that committee kind of sets emotion, the plan for the athletic vision, right? So it sets what boosters, what your targets are, what the Learfield targets are, what their programming, what the university targets are in terms of uh branding and some of their promos and so forth. So the key is not to have the same people that that you have on every committee. That's what you're getting at, Brian. I'm there.
Okay, thank you.
They
Yes,
they
exactly.
they
You need
they
to have
they,
a
they,
variety.
they need a Marcus Green, Kelvin Rozier on that committee. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And,
Dr.
and,
Stratton,
and,
Dr.
and,
Stratton in the
Stop
chat room.
stop
and that
chasing the
and
white
that
unicorn.
Yeah.
yes, yes. I do want to make one other point because I want to be respectful of Marcus. And Marcus, you can drop off probably if you have to, man. But the other point that they made that I thought was interesting was, so they approved discretionary a non-discretionary funding to give to the AD.
Mm-hmm.
They came back and amended that, and they
Mm-hmm.
gave a list of what that funding that was given to the athletics, what it'd be used for. And I just want to read some of the things because it's
So,
going to
so,
it's going to
hold on.
resort back to what some of the things I've said on the show. Go ahead.
So it's not just a black card, which previously many, not me, but many people thought, oh, as you get discretionary income, essentially it's a black card to do what you need to do. It's not that, or that has been
No.
amended, is what you're saying.
Yes, it has been amended, and so the budget
Mm-hmm.
was approved for softball, bullpen repair, field house security, turf, which I'm sure is the doors and locks, turf repair, Wiggins ceremony, tennis windscreens, more kiddo signage, track and field windscreens, baseball top covers, softball dugout paints, baseball outfield install, softball panels, end of the year awards, goalpost level and paint, pitching platforms, foul line fence, field house. So it's essentially really facilities related stuff, mostly facilities and event. And what did I always tell you? We don't include it in the budget.
Amen. Yep. Yep. And like you, it's funny how you said earlier, the budget. If you're working on the budget for next year, don't you just need to include all of this stuff? And I don't care if you're
gonna have maintenance. You know something gonna break. You're gonna have maintenance. Budgeted it.
Yeah, you can't sweep it under the rug. That's the cost of that's the cost of doing business. And you can't. It sounds like, just from our observation, from what Kelvin elaborated on, basically we wouldn't include it, and then we'd come back and either have to get amendments, or you're making requests of alums to help pay for those things that should be included in terms of that should be normal wear and tear, run and maintain. You have to include that as an asset that you're invested in the university to maintain it, and you can't pretend it doesn't happen until it's broken down.
Right.
Yeah, the okay, so good. At least so many people thought the discretionary income included flights to places and events, but no, that is not what the discretionary fund is.
It was put back in control. Let's put it that way. If there was any thoughts of that, then evidently somebody sounded a bill, and they
somebody said something. Somebody said something. Good for keeping eyes open. One other thing she did, AD Sykes notated about APRs, because I know somebody asked about APR. I think she said, now this isn't official, it hasn't been released, but I think she learned that we have the most. Now, I don't know what this is on. She said something about we have the most perfect scores, maybe in the history of the whole APR structure.
I think what she was indicating, and I didn't hear the actual numbers. That's what I'm waiting on, and I think they have to wait till the NCAA usually, I think, sends a report in the fall, and then they give folks an opportunity to review it, and if there's any edits or changes before they print it, I think that usually comes out in March. They can't really talk about it until then. But I think what she was indicating was that in terms of FAMU football specifically, that the scores were the highest that we've ever posted for the football program. I believe that's what she was trying to say.
Right. Which is what Coach Simmons said December 29th, 30th, whenever he was still in his final week, he did indicate that the APR number was better, and that was not a talking point as some people had presumed or alleged it to be.
Yeah, it seemed, well, I know she told us in our interview during the Celebration Bowl, but also I'm just curious because we're hearing all these good numbers, but all throughout the coaching search and even afterwards, there seemed to be banging the drum about emphasizing good student athletes, someone concerned about all this other stuff, as if to indicate that wasn't the case previously. I don't know. So I don't know what intel there is in order to explain all that discussion and pointed emphasis made on during the football coaching search, but I'm sure all will be revealed in time. Now I'm gonna have to sign off, but
Yes,
I do
sir.
appreciate the cliff notes on the. I didn't get a chance to watch any stuff today, so I didn't see 220 Club. I didn't see the Board of Trustees meeting. So this is a good summary to help me, and I can hopefully go back and look at it this weekend and glean some things.
Gotcha.
All right, Marcus.
Marcus, man, appreciate you. We'll talk offline.
Most certainly.
As we go into the weekend.
And I put that article, put the link to the unicorn article in the and behind the scenes.
Yes, and I appreciate you doing that. I remember hearing about that strategy. So good stuff. Good stuff.
All
All
right,
right, Marcus Green,
Rattler
ladies and
Nation.
gentlemen, make sure you follow at Decatur_G. Hit Marcus up. All right, appreciate you, Mark. Uh-oh. All right, there you go. Sorry.
All right. So in terms of APR, I saw there was a couple of questions. So APR is computed over a rolling full year average, but it's computed annually. So I think what she's referring to is the annual number that will come out shortly, sometime this spring, as being the highest that has ever been in terms of football. I believe that's what she's referencing, not the 4-year average.
Right. Well, the 4-year average can't be great, not at the last couple years, but in terms of this past season, is definitely going to be much better. It's going to be much better. So all right. So yeah, I'll tell you the interesting thing about what I found, Kelvin, when we go back and look at those blog posts, the finances, and I know one of the big points right now is one of the big red flags or I guess say the X's against right now this administration is how it's handled its budget. And I wrote some notes here, and I want you to sort of talk about this or backdate this, because now in the blog post, Rattler Nation .blogspot, in case you don't know, and if you're not reading, maybe it's a guilty pleasure. You don't want to admit you read it, but you do. You probably should. I'm not gonna lie to you. Always some good stuff there to work off of. But I think there was a point that was made about some of the budgeting issues that this administration has had. And I thought they did a great job of pointing out a little background on how we got to where we're at and sort of this deficit and these issues. But a couple things that stood out to me about why there's a budget crisis. And the article brings up two very important points. Now, one, it was discussed or mentioned at the beginning of the football season at the home opener that quote unquote deep discounts were made for the football home opener versus West Florida for the Youth Day promotion. So, assuming that your normal ticket prices run probably what?
What, individual tickets per game?
Individual tickets per game.
Reserves, I think, is what, 45, and general was probably 30 this year, I think.
Yeah, I can't imagine them being that high, right? But I don't know when you hear
They
discounts. Okay, so when you talk about the discounts, I'm thinking, well, how much of a discount is being given? And it's like, okay, if we're discounting them that deeply, are we doing that with the hope that, hey, we're trying to draw more people to the game? Even though, taking into consideration, we've already reduced the seating capacity in the stadium the previous year from 25 down to about 19. So you lost about 6,000 seats. So that was one thing. And then the other thing that was brought up was the free tickets that were given to students for the SWAC championship game. About 2,500 tickets were made available for students at no cost, which was about $198,000 according to the report. And that AD Sykes was actually advised not to go this route by her own staff, by people on staff. So I wondered, Kelvin, how did FAMU balance their budget over the last several years, and why is this year been so challenging? What are
I
your
would
thoughts
tell
on
you, I would tell you every year is challenging.
that?
Every
Exactly.
every every year is challenging because you don't have the funding from the beginning to operate and get you throughout the entire athletic calendar. Now, you had Colonel Clark there, and he was very involved with the previous AD, and so there was, and to Courtney's credit, he built some relationships, so he didn't mind go out there and fundraise. He fundraised, and he also networked. So the way we structured, that's what you have to do. Get, but you still end up robbing Peter to pay Paul, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's a reality. It's a reality. When you say balanced budget, what I would tell you is that the budget was amended multiple times last year and the year before that and the year before that to get to the balanced number at by the time August of the fall hit around, you know. But we always at this point in the year have more expenses than revenue because at this point all the revenue generating sports have coming to an end, and all
Yeah.
you have is the non-revenue generating sports, and we're not getting the money out of basketball that we should.
No, we're not.
Right.
We're not.
So
We've got a
so
9,000
so
seat stadium,
yeah.
and we're averaging
Yeah.
maybe like 1,800 at that. So that's a lot of empty seats left. And I think it's funny you talk about being able to create that budget and just say, look, okay, we need a budget to do X, Y, and Z. But more importantly, we got to find a way to improve these facilities at softball, at baseball,
Turf
even
field.
tennis, but
Yeah.
but more so in terms of the stand. See, if you create, and we've seen I have seen so many drawings, Kelvin, of modest. I mean, I don't know what the seating capacity is at the softball.
Brian, I'm going to stop you right here.
Okay.
As someone who's got a strong facility background and very well versed in FAMU culture, the only way we're going to get grandstands and all the things we need is the P3, a public-private partnership. We're not going to raise that money, from asking the alumni and the administration is, frankly, I'm looking forward to athletic being broken away from the university and from up under the umbrella of student affairs and administrative affairs and all that. And the reason being is though those folks try to help. Don't get me wrong, but their loyalty is not the athletics, and the athletics is a drain on them too. So so oftentimes decisions are made that are not in the best interest of athletics and shortchange them. And it forces those administrators who are in athletics to jeopardize the budget and their jobs. I mean, we've had what 6 ADs in the last 7 years?
7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, man. I'm telling you, FAMU, the way we operate athletics is unsustainable and it needs to change. But in terms of the improvements you're talking about, the those are what we call capital improvements.
Okay.
Building new stadiums, building a athletic complex for student wellness and all that kind of stuff. Either you got to combine that with, and some schools do this at our size. Either you got to combine the rec part of student life with athletics, because there's revenue on a rec side, or you have to do like I say, for us, a P3. We don't have corporate sponsorships, and we don't have people who dedicated to nothing but athletics 24/7. That's what athletic needs in order to be fully sustaining.
And I'll say this, Demetria, the reason there's value in reading any and everything related to FAMU is because that blog is inside, and so whatever you may think, that site has inside sources, people who are sitting at those tables, people who are in those meetings. Somebody is sharing information which is getting out, and that is why there is, when you hear this stuff, a lot of times you end up seeing a lot of truth coming out from the information that comes. And I know, like I said, I get it. It's, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. But
truth is a funny thing, Brian,
it
because
is.
I agree with you that a lot, not there's amplified, which I don't really follow, and then there's Rattle Blog.
I don't know.
And Rattle Blog, there is a lot of solid information in that, even though it can be messy and controversial, but the truth is messy and controversial sometimes.
No,
and we gotta get comfortable with that. We can't always be kumbaya. Sometimes we gotta have them family feuds.
Well, and yes, it is one-sided. And I would tell you, if you go and if you read or go to the website famuforward.com, guess what side that is going to give you? Because it's official from the Office of Communications, it's going to give you the FAMU side. It's going to give you that everything is rosy, everything is good, everything's positive. Yes, because that's the side where the information is coming from. It's the official university website. And I'm not saying I don't want to read that, because it has information in it, but I mean, let's keep it real.
Yeah, we need a T2.
Hey, what did they say? There's three sides to every truth.
Hey, we need a sun, but we also gotta have them thunderstorms too. We gotta have that rain too
to keep the grass green. Exactly.
That's right.
We need it to keep the grass green. So it works out on both sides. So yes, it can be one-sided, but again, you got to have two sides of it, and that's just. And so I wouldn't tell you to read all of one and not the other, because you need all of it.
Balance.
All of it helps give you, all the balance gives you a great perspective of what's going on. That's why, hey, we appreciate people who watch our show. Then you go and watch Keith's show, Fangs Up. You may check out Rory's podcast or St. Clair.
Game Day.
Game Day. Yeah, I mean, there's different perspectives, and that's why you consume it all. And that's why we appreciate, and we all grow together in what we're doing, and all for the betterment of hopefully our university. That's for those of us who are in it. That's what we're doing. I mean, we enjoy talking about it and spotlighting and letting you know about things that you might not have known about or thought about. And you don't always have to agree with us. And Kelvin is more factual than me a lot of times. I'm messy. That's just me, because I deal with a lot during the day where I got to be buttoned up and tight. So I get on here and I or X, and I'll be messy sometimes. But a lot of it, it is what it is. So all right. I know it's getting close to closing time. Want to remind everybody, here's what's going on this week. Again, we put this out there. Obviously, the big highlight of the upcoming weekend is senior night. Again, what's funny is I know Shannon Grant is there, but Shannon does have another year eligibility left, which is what I'm kind of surprised to see him in this graphic, because I know he came to FAMU with 2 years of eligibility. And I don't know if that means something about his future, if he's indicated that he's not coming back after this year, or maybe he's just his undergrad and he's going to weigh his decisions.
It is what it is. There's some unknowns on the men's side right now in terms of what's going to happen there. So
it is. you know, I love Keith. Keith had a Keith on Sunday had a great, I think it was like 20 minutes talking about the future of the program. I'm
Hey,
upset that he
Bryan, I'm
what?
not gonna say nothing about the future. What I
No.
will say, what I will say is a whole lot of inquiries from coaches.
Hey, there's a lot. Everybody has a
my
list.
my phone blowing up.
Mine is too. Mine is too. A lot of people ask me. It's like that's the hot topic. Well, what and I I told y'all I don't want to put any names out there because I feel like if I put a name out there, oh, she going a different direction. It's like so. I'm gonna tell all my brothers and sisters on whatever network and show you on. don't say who your candidate is because I mean in all jest, I don't know. It's gonna be this is gonna be an interesting decision. And you know, I think one thing that someone brought up to me, Kelvin, that I found interesting is that the last several hires for this position have all had a certain tie to it, to our board of trustees. And that's a little concerning because again, you know, if your AD wants that autonomy to be able to bring in man, who
Bryan,
knows? Maybe
Bryan,
it'll sink in.
Bryan. We've done a pretty bad job of hiring basketball coaches, particularly on the men's side, for a long time now. Outside of Gillespie, we done got a lot wrong.
But yeah, but the point of saying that is why have we gotten a lot wrong? Because
No, I
the
understand what you're implying.
I'm implying that the influence of where these suggestions are coming from maybe not be the best.
So
Maybe.
I'm gonna say it. There has to be some vetting, but we don't need to go the committee route. I don't want a board of trustees making no decisions. Frankly, I don't want a committee making these decisions. I'm okay to a certain extent with letting the AD lead this process. Just make sure you bring it in and and vet it. But hell, these folks they we need to stay out of the hiring basketball coaches. I'm tired of watching bad basketball, and she seems to right now the women's coaches trending in the right direction. So
Well,
let's see what happens.
I will say this. You know, if Saturday is the last game for Coach McCullum, I will say that I have really enjoyed him as a coach and a person. And what he has done to
Without complaining.
Yes, right.
People forget, I was there for some of that time that he dealt with sanctions where he couldn't even have home games.
When he started, right? Right?
Well, it was actually after he started, right? You had COVID, and then you had the year after COVID, and those sanctions kicked in, and you had you couldn't play home games, and you had practice time cut, and just a lot of different things, and you never heard him complain. He's a class guy. His players graduate. They never get in trouble. So in terms of that, I mean, coaches is that's all well and good, but at the end of the day, he ain't winning right now.
Exactly, and it is what it is, and coach. Look, he said, I agree with you 100%. You don't go from being coach of the year to all of a sudden not being able to coach. You don't. What what probably happened, and we've talked about this offline, is that, and coaches even admitted this, the team after MJ was a big mistake in terms of the personnel brought in and what he expected that personnel to be able to do. And that team was a veteran team that MJ was on that last year, where we went to the SWAC tournament, lost in the first round. And then, the following year, you're trying to rebuild in this new portal world. This is post-COVID, right? So now you're trying to deal with the portal and you're trying to get it right. And yeah, we didn't quite get it right. And he'll even tell you that. But there were also things going on within the structure of the administration, right?
Yeah. Changing administration, access to facilities for practice.
Facilities, exactly. There are a lot of things working, and I know, and a lot of y'all don't want to hear that. A lot of y'all are just results. Oh, well, I don't see this, I don't see that. And so that's why I said, whoever is the next person has to kind of be prepared to take on a job where it ain't gonna be perfect, and you gotta
they gotta have their own connection. You need somebody who connected to the AAU circuit that can bring in talent and folks that can have some people
financial resources
that can help fund them. Yeah,
even your own NIL. Look. Here's the thing. FAMU has an NIL entity that you can send a business to. So I know coaches and the teams aren't supposed to do anything, but we have Rattlers Local Exchange. You have a business. If I have a connection with a business, major business, couple of major businesses, I can have that. I can tell that business exactly where to go right there on FAMUathletics.com. The NIL Rattlers Local Exchange. You can do everything you need to do to be able to reach. Hey, and now when you get signed up with that, hey, look, here are basketball players and other athletes that you can connect with and get. So you got, whoever this next coach is, you got to be able to maintain the off the field or off the court excellence that Coach McCollum has created within the program. And then you got to be able to bring some new stuff with it through the recruiting, through the NIL.
Got to do a better job. I'm gonna say the thing I said with on the
player development.
Side. You got to be able to recruit Florida players and local players.
I used to, it's funny.
It just ain't no way around it.
I used to, me, I used to kind of poo-poo that thought, but I'm telling you, I've seen it, and I think from where I've been fortunate enough where I've been at as a high school coach, where we played enough good teams, really good teams, and I've seen enough talent to know with the right coach, there are enough players in this state. And I'm watching programs like FAU, now USF,
South Florida, yeah.
I'm watching them have success. Even UCF here in Orlando is reaping a little benefits. I'm watching Division II programs in NAI. I'm watching all kinds of programs within the state of Florida have way more success than FAMU. And
there you go, Mr. Campbell. Florida and Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you keep it, right there, you're there. Florida go. I mean, there's plenty of teams that are having more success in the state of Florida than FAMU at all kinds of levels.
Hey, Albany State beat us this season with a player from Tallahassee.
Jesus, that's crazy. Look, yeah.
Southern beat us with a player a couple of years ago with a player from Tallahassee. I'm just saying, you got to get them all. You ain't got to have a team full of, but you got to have some major contributors, and it helps with the attendance too.
Well, you'd like to think it would help. I mean, I would think it would help a little bit.
I mean, look at baseball. All I'm saying, baseball winning. What did they do? Football winning. What did they do?
Yeah. Hey, good point.
We had indoor track on here and the young sprinter from Ricketts. I'm just saying, dog. The formula is the formula.
Well said. Well said. All right. Well, that's gonna kind of anything that we didn't hit on that you wanted to mention tonight,
We
Kelvin?
we didn't mention, but we got that we need to mention. Spring practice started for football,
Yes, 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 yes.
and we lost a coach.
We did. But he elevated up. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, it's a good thing.
Coach Morgan, who was our passing game coordinator and defensive back coach. He accepted the job, and he is now the head coach of Bluefield State.
Yep.
Which is in West Virginia. Now members of the CIAA. It's a program it's a reborn program in its third year. He's going into his third season. The first year they were an independent. Last year they got into the CIAA for the first year. I mean, that's a quick rise too, because Bluefield State added a whole bunch of programs, and football being one of them. And they had a football program previously, but like a lot of things, it got discontinued sometime in the either 70s or 80s, and so they brought it back. And so he's got a relatively fresh start. And look, they weren't bad the last couple years. I mean, that team, the program, honestly, when the previous coach, I mean, he was the coach who basically built that program. I was surprised he actually, I think he was either fired or resigned. I don't know which one, but I think it's more so resigned. Probably, I think. I was surprised he was leaving. So he's going into a good situation. So we wish Coach Morgan success, and obviously the practice number 1 got underway Tuesday. Next practice is Thursday, and I think they're kind of, from what I saw of the schedule, it is a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday kind of schedule. I didn't see any Saturdays. I didn't see any Saturdays.
They're spring break. They break for spring break. And they come back after spring break.
Well, even after spring break, I didn't see any like Saturday scrimmages. At least Coach Simmons had those 1 or 2 Saturdays where I think he took his team to Quincy, and he might have took his not Quincy.
It was
Quincy. It was Quincy. Yeah, okay. And then he took them, and then you'd have the Saturday. So I didn't see any Saturdays other than the actual spring game, which again is April 14th. So that is the date for the spring game, April 14th.
And let me just prepare Rattler Nation. Because these coaches leave and have payouts, and the athletic budget being what it is, and not budgeted for these payouts, you will probably see the quarterback coach potentially. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but Coach Morgan's position, maybe the D-line coach. It may be a delay in the coaches coming in those positions because they have to pay the coaches who've already left. And some of those payouts, like for Smitty Rock, probably pretty substantial. So it may not be till June, July for some of those positions to be filled.
Well, but Kelvin, isn't that money sitting there in the National Alumni Association coffers?
That doesn't belong to the athletics, and so
that's not what I said.
That was for salary, but I don't know if it was technically for salaries to pay coaches to start working at FAMU. I think they would have to go back and ask, could it be used for that? So, has to be asked.
He may have, to answer your question, Campbell, he may have money owed in terms of bonus
and benefits, right? So when you're a state employee, you get X amount of hours of leave, annual leave, sick leave, and when you leave the university or any state agency, they have to pay you for a certain amount of that leave. I think you get all your annual, and you get up to a certain amount of your sick leave. Hell, when I left the university, I lost about 1,000 hours of sick leave because I never took sick leave, holiday. But those payouts can be pretty substantial. I mean, I'm talking if you've been at a university like Smitty Rock was there since like what 2018?
2018, yeah.
So those payouts can be 20 grand with leave time and all the other benefits. And so that money comes off the line that he was getting paid out of. So you can't put nobody else on that line until he gets his benefits paid out.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how they do it.
Yep. Let's see. So again, baseball this weekend, as we pointed out, baseball is home this weekend against Eastern Illinois. The softball team is in Alabama at Alabama A&M, looking to keep the winning streak going as they open up SWAC baseball season. I've got to check. Golf doesn't have golf got any events coming up next week. I never saw the results from the tournament from the meet in Daytona Beach.
They came in 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, it is on the website, but it's just not on the front scroll page. You have to go to the golf page.
All right. Any reviews on Rattler Plus from baseball and softball events? Any thoughts? Any reviews? Anybody? You heard any comments or reviews?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I know you can watch. If those of you who aren't going to be in Tallahassee, you can watch the games this weekend on Rattler Plus. And again, I would encourage you to do that. If nothing else, get the monthly subscription. I mean, it's $10. If you're not going to get the whole season package, get the monthly, and it'll cover you for baseball as well, and hopefully you get your money's worth this weekend. So we appreciate that. But again, want to encourage everybody.
Pack the pit.
Pack the pit. Exactly. Thank you. Pack the pit this weekend.
Baseball is at home also.
Baseball's home. So that's going to do it for the O&G StrikeZone tonight. Got to thank Olivia, Liv, Antilla, Live for Hoops for coming in and joining us. Great.
Live for Smoke.
Great segment. Live for Smoke. Appreciate Rhea Floyd. Rhea.floyd@famu.edu is where you can send your email, thoughts, questions, suggestions for marketing. We appreciate Rhea. Appreciate all of our chat friends, our friends. You guys kept it entertaining.
Hey,
appreciate Dr. Lori. Well, let me say,
boy, Dr. Lori showed up and the folks went to scatter, boy. They were like cockroaches.
Hey, it was like Mama had got home, cut the lights on, and saw folks on the couch doing some bad business.
She said, "I'm here," and I saw D say, "Uh-oh."
It was like, man, I love y'all, man. Appreciate I know Dr. Strachan in there as well moderating, but I appreciate and look, hey, I appreciate all the folks who came over to visit. To see what it was like. I'm scared to open up my phone and see how much Twitter hate I get, but I mean, it is what it is. But I really do enjoy it. It's fun. I try to keep it fun. Now, everybody gets. Some people get. I really think some people take it personal. Like I can like the tone. It's just like we like the tone. The shit that I get. Excuse me. The stuff I get. It is like, I'm like, bro, we've never met, but you stalked me and you talk bad about me, but we ain't never met in person. I'm like, I'm amazed sometimes, but some people's filters are just different, I guess.
Hey, shout out to Scotty and Miss Grip with a new baby coming.
Oh, hey, congratulations. Okay, yeah, I missed that. I missed that news. Missed that announcement. Congratulations to the Mr. and Mrs. Script.
The Scots.
Yeah. Good job. Good job. Congratulations. So good stuff. Yeah. So, well, like I said, I can't wait for the trip to Jackson, Kelvin. I can't wait to go to
Me too.
Jackson, and I'm expecting
and I was
Simone to host.
I wasn't. Now I know Derek Singleton is already making plans. He already talked to me about some of it. But yeah, I want to make sure to Mona hang around a little bit this time, because I'm not exaggerating at the OBC.
I
ain't never seen nobody move so fast, and she turned invisible.
She's gone. This is out the door before you even looked around and said, where did so? She was gone. But no, I look forward to it. I can't wait till I think it's October 19th. I got it circled. I'm starting to make my reservation and plans now. So but no, look forward to it's looking forward to
you got it, Mr. Campbell.
To be in there. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, Mr. Campbell. Okay, good. Because Mr. Campbell, I'm gonna need you got to set the introductions. That's your nieces. I want the introductions. I know Timona, but I mean everybody else though. I want the introductions. But anyway, all right. So again, appreciate everybody watching. Make sure to if you want to take a second and you want to donate to the show, you can do so in multiples of ways. You can hit up the Cash App right there. You can drop a super chat donation, however you want to do it. It's all appreciated, and thank you to those who have donated. Thank you for subscribing to the Jericho Broadcast Network YouTube page. Lots of great content. Continually, we keep trying to crank out. Thank you for supporting the BCSN Pod Zone. For those of you who enjoy watching and listening to the show via the podcast format. And hello, thank you to everybody on Instagram, people who might be watching on Niche Network TV. Appreciate everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube. So that's going to do it for tonight. For Marcus Green and Kelvin Rozier right there, I'm Bryan Fulford, and we thank you. And Rattlers, keep those fangs up. It's Wildcat Hate Weekend, so we got to make sure to strike and strike again at those BCC walks. Somebody said they were bringing a student bus. I said, what? They bringing a student bus?
They bringing a short bus?
Hey, I don't know what they bringing, but I heard they bringing a bus of kids, a bus of cats. They bringing a bus of cats up to Tallahassee. So let's make sure we are in the house and we are loud and proud. And nothing would be better than to keep them out of the SWAC tournament and for us to get there, at least on the women's side, so that way, I mean, with all due respect. So that's what it is. So thank you everybody for watching tonight. Share the show with a friend. Go back and watch a segment that you might have missed. You'll be thanked later for doing it. All right. Peace out, everybody. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Thank you.